campaign, or...
Okay,
I think I joined the helicopter.
Oh, Chicago helicopter. On song B.
So Bosco can crash his helicopter to his heart's content.
Listen, dude. With the stream...
Talk about how they sent helicopter pilots to Vietnam with no training at all.
Yeah, that's my favorite bit. Oh, dude, it literally is my favorite bit. It is absolutely my favorite bit. I don't know why no one makes this bit, but it's my favorite bit.
Is Bernie Sanders your president, dude?
I mean, dude, Bernie Sanders is my president, and I can tell you why, but I can't right now.
Do you know he's a KGB agent?
Yeah, is that true?
Yeah, he went to Russia for his honeymoon.
For Russia with love. That's where he got his wife. Is he even married? Is he gay? I don't...
Yeah, he got married and went to Russia.
Dude, no shit.
Immediately after.
No shit. I didn't know. I don't know if Bernie Sanders is gay or straight.
He's both.
That's where it's at, dude. That is.
He's actually just questioning.
He's also Reddit cheat.
What team are we on?
Vietcong.
That is where it's all at, dude.
Just on my squad.
Democratic.
Democratic socialism.
Democratic socialism.
You didn't say democratic, though. You said democratic.
What's the difference?
Yeah, that's how I said it. Democratic socialism.
Democratic
you guys NLF?
socialism.
What's up?
What are you guys?
Haji. Vietcong.
There you go. I fixed it just for you.
What the fuck is the squad game mode playing?
Territory.
Territory.
It has like the fucking connecting lines. Like this is squad.
Man, let's take him first.
This is squad. Now, Pesky, remember, press T, and the people who are red are actually your friends.
Nah, they're not. Don't believe his lie.
Don't believe his democratic
I
socialism
really
lies.
don't understand why they haven't figured out basic fucking friendly enemy coloring in this game.
Nah, we're red because we're communists.
This game is taking forever to turn on. What the fuck's going on here, man?
It always does, dude.
What's going on with this game, man?
I don't know.
How
I
can I
enjoyed
teach
watching
these
the.
kids?
Hey, squad lead, can we have a rally?
Nah, dude. Fuck you.
Alright, I finally
Every
started up.
time you ask me for a rally, I'm not gonna put it down for next year.
wow.
Like 10.
It didn't just capture any. Just do that.
I just remember every time like someone joins your squad, I'm like, hey, squad lead, can we have a rally?
Can we just get this stupid thing on? For fuck's sake.
Are you
Come on.
talking about in Rising Storm when they kept asking for time?
There we go.
Yeah.
We're finally in. We finally got Rising Storm on. Thank God. Alright.
Bosco, are you streaming?
Yeah, don't say the N-word, please.
Nagger?
Fucking A, dude. That's still pretty fucked up. You can't even say that either. You can't
Dude.
say
People that annoy me.
you
They're
can't say
naggers.
you can't say naggers or nibbas. Like you literally can't say those words either because they think it's dog whistling to those words.
Nagas?
Yeah, you can't say not the word. You can't say the word either, but you can't say not the word either. Does that make sense? Because they'll know what you mean. Except if you're a female streamer, and then if you say the N-word, they'll just think you said grocery store.
But I am a female. Did they just question my gender?
Yeah, but you're not a female streamer.
Alright, I'm complaining. I'm suing Twitch for
It's not Twitch.
misgendering.
We're doing
There's
this on.
enemies behind you.
We're doing this on YouTube.
Yeah, he just shot me in the face.
We're doing YouTube right now, dude. So this is not a Twitch stream.
YouTube. I'm
This is,
suing YouTube for.
this is a special stream. This is a special stream just for us.
I made Kelly sit down and watch the entirety of Squatter Days.
Why? Why would you do that to her?
It was great.
Did you like it?
No, she said we were all retarded.
Well, that's true, but did she like it?
I mean, she liked seeing us have fun, but
The flamethrower
she's
umbrella.
like, y'all are really stupid. It's not funny.
Oh, well, wait till she sees the next one that's been in production for like 8 months.
Flame is dead.
Yeah!
Charlie is being
Yeah.
Democratic socialism. Yeah.
Hey, I wish our commander had a mic. This is really annoying to listen to a commander with no mic.
We are taking Echo.
Don't you all agree?
Is there even a commander?
I mean,
haven't
he's
heard
making
them
the
talk.
best of it. Shit happens.
His name is Tin Can. He's 1010.
Would you not be listening to him?
I just hate when our leader doesn't have communication skills.
There you go, Kiosk was fucking round.
It's not like he went to
Oh, thanks, man.
ping pong university to not get his communication
Take
degrees.
over.
You know?
Ping pong. What is this, Forrest Gump?
Yeah, I'll take over as his commander. I'll step up. I'll step up too. Step up, Electric Boogaloo.
Kick.
You want me kicked? Now first you said somebody has. First you say somebody has to step up. Now you want
Oh,
to be kicked.
I hear a hill Huey
Aggressive,
over here by
aggressive
me.
as heck, dude. Nice Team Kang, dude.
Come to me, lad. Oh, we crashed. You stupid. I tried to land a Huey over here, and they crashed.
Dude, our fucking commanders dropped artillery on our people, and no one is kicking him.
He left, dude. There you go.
Oh damn, let's do it. Let's go for the
This is
commander.
your chance, Bosco.
Join game. Kill. So, or is it suicide? Suicide. Boom. Desired roll kill.
Yes, yes. We have lost Charlie.
Got my command.
You ever lost Charlie?
We're back. I'm back, boys. I'm back.
Do people want to watch a stream of someone playing Commander in Rising Storm?
Who's gonna watch a stream in general? And first of all, this is YouTube, man. We're just trying to get bants and rants, you know? And I'm just trying to get those hours up, yo.
Iron Ran.
All right, boys. This is your commander speaking,
We are
everybody.
taking Charlie.
Don't worry. I can have a mic. I have a mouth, and I have something that I'm gonna tell you guys right after these messages.
Do you
We are
want
taking
me?
Delta.
I can't believe Commander.
Hey, where's the mic? Where's the commander without a mic? I liked it better.
He left because you're a pussy. Now get the fucking work. Okay, we're gonna need some markers on the map. We're gonna start taking D and C. How does that sound? Let's take D and C. Yeah.
If you spawn my point, we can get behind and link them.
You never answered my
Yeah, I'm
question.
spawning
Do
right
you have
now.
a pussy?
Soon.
Yeah, I have a pussy.
No, not a pussy. Pussy.
Yeah, I have a
With a B.
pussy.
I think most
Okay, thanks for sharing.
The
Alright.
fuck is a pussy?
Bravo is being
I'm
attacked.
pussy.
We have
Do you
taken
even want
Delta.
Good job.
to chaos?
Good job.
I mean,
We are
Good job.
taking Echo.
kinda.
See,
Our next goal. So we gotta go to
it's-
B though.
it's
We don't want to lose our
shorthand
dugout.
for boy pussy.
Okay, guys. I need like a squad there, or maybe like a
Oh,
half
yeah,
a
it
squad.
So like a tight asshole
Yeah, basically.
doesn't need to be tight.
No.
I feel like it kind of does.
We are taking Echo.
I mean, if it's like throwing a hot dog down a hallway, then it's just not good.
You know what the bullshit thing is? The fucking commander when we were left dropped already on us and used every single fucking
Scout.
consumable.
Report in.
He's a fucking cunt.
Yeah, so aggressive.
Are you even Cappy right now?
We are taking
Oh, they
Foxtrot.
got tunnel boys. Rip.
Rip,
Dream is dead.
The dream is dead. Long live the dream.
I'll put another one down over here.
I don't know what's killing me. What is that?
Helicopters. That's a 40 mic from the Cobra.
Don't worry, I got anti-air.
If you wait 10
Alright,
seconds,
I'm setting
I'll
up,
put another
anti-air.
flank down.
We're gonna
I
set up
gotcha.
anti-air. We're gonna shoot down those helios, or as I call them, helios or heelys.
Alright, I'm taking it right now.
Okay, that'll stop them from being bullies.
Bravo is being attacked. Alpha
Oh,
is
look at all those
being
people I just
attacked.
killed, guys. Those are baddies, and I killed them with my good gun. My big old gun. Big old gun.
We can put traps around this thing.
Oh,
yeah,
look,
so
more
they
people.
kills. Don't worry about it. Just like
Some
to make their
traps.
tunnel like booby trap, so
We're
if they
doing pretty
try
well
to
on
like
tickets. Just gotta keep
yeah,
beating them,
run to
boys.
it, they just blow themselves up like retard. Oh shit. Got a machine gun watching this shit.
Delta is being attacked.
Shit, dude.
We are taking Charlie.
That tequila's hitting late.
Alpha is
Oh
being
god.
attacked.
Don't let them take Delta. We don't want to lose Delta.
So, does the thing on top, that bar, indicate we're getting fucked in the ass right now?
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
But we have more tickets than them though, so it's okay.
Oh, we don't. We have less.
Oh wait, we're not red, we're blue. Oh fuck, I always get confused.
Oh, we are red. They're blue.
So we have more tickets than them. We have 149.
No, they have
It doesn't
129.
matter though.
We have 129.
No, because we're blue.
No, we're
No.
not. We're red.
No, we're red. We're blue on the fucking top, dude.
No, we're
No,
not.
we're not.
We're red.
It says blue. It looks blue to me, man.
Well,
You
there's
have fucking terrible color vision. Then you need to go see a doctor.
Alright, you
getting more.
maybe it's because I have colorblind mode on and legit it reverses the
We are
colors.
taking
Because we're blue on my screen. I can prove it too.
All
Scout.
democratic
Reporting.
socialism is failure, boys. Who would have?
Who would have thunk?
We have taken Charlie.
Here, let's go. Let's go for that already strike.
Oh, they're going for our tunnel.
Really, they're just
They killed
airdropping
it.
a lot of shit. There's not like much we can do.
I mean, this map's pretty terrible for air support.
Yeah.
We are taking Delta.
Like our only hope is me getting like
Just
a
feels
bunch
like
of...
it's so spread out.
Yeah, it's pretty shit. Not gonna lie. But I did drop some arty on them. We'll see how well that does.
Literally 0 kills. Sweet.
It's still dropping.
We are taking Delta. We are
My
losing. We have to
fucking
take some objectives.
Cool, that's
announcer says Delta is so funny.
I like it when he
We are
says
taking it.
Charlie.
We are
Charlie
taking
is being
Delta.
attacked.
I like when he says Charlie. It's more fun for me.
Charlie is under attack.
Alright, we got arty. We got... Alright, I got some AA going up. That should stop him from being annoying for a minute.
I don't understand this game at all. How are we getting totally ass fucked when they're up by like what 1 point?
Yeah, 1 point.
Well,
Well, they've
because
they've had more for long, probably. I think.
now I have AA up, so we should stop their shit for a minute.
We are taking Echo.
That should give us momentum for a minute or two.
Alright, I'm on you, Iron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we can take fucking E,
Get fucked.
we should reverse this.
E. Oh, there's a Huey landing over here somewhere. I think. I hear it.
Yeah, I do too.
I'm just
Oh
sitting here
shit.
drinking my.
I think that was a Cobra actually. Just hovering.
I'm just sitting here drinking
Oh,
my iced tea.
Oscar took out a helicopter.
Did I really? I'm not even doing anything.
Hey.
We
Nice, I
have
did.
lost Alpha.
You got
We
the
are taking
Cobra.
Alpha.
Nice.
Hey, there's
sorry.
a machine gun coming up
I'm
on you.
literally not doing anything, just sitting here drinking
We
iced
have
tea.
lost
Kill
Bravo.
Oh
Dude,
shit.
we lost Alpha and Bravo, dude.
There's a carbine dude in there.
Scout
Some
reporting.
Yeah, we're losing pretty bad here, boys.
Probably want to take Bravo and Alpha back, guys. How does that sound?
Do you want me to find a campaign server, or do you want to keep playing helicopter only map?
I mean, we can do whatever, man. It doesn't matter.
I don't know,
We have
dude.
a
We
lost
always play the
Charlie.
Viet Cong, so helicopter only map might be
I love helicopters.
shit.
Kind of shitty, yeah.
Chỉ huy đã đến lúc sử dụng
Alright, hold on.
chúng ta
What do you mean we
phải
only
Delta
play
is
Viet
being
Cong?
attacked.
We always play Viet Cong, dude.
Dude, we're losing again, guys.
It's
Gotta get
because
those cars
everyone
back.
plays Americans in this game.
Those are fucking pussies, dude.
We have lost. Fall back. Swap inside.
Swap
Could join
inside.
Nukem.
That's Iron right there talking.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Let's fucking do it, dude.
Oh wait, no, Total War Chicago campaign. There you go.
Total War. Okay.
That's why I thought we were joining when you said Total War Chicago.
Yeah, we'll join a new server.
Oh, dude, Da Nang. Get some Da Nang,
Da Nang, dude.
Bootsy.
Bootsy, man. Da Nang, Da Nang. Da Nang and Bootsy. Da Nang and Bootsy, man. Ooh, heaven is a place on earth. Fucking love that song. Oh yeah, let me go. I grabbed a transport helicopter before we're switching maps. I'm gonna go crash it.
Connection to the host has been lost. Okay.
Don't worry, I got
Yeah,
this.
I'm gonna watch your stream,
There
Bosco.
we go.
Yeah, watch it. Don't worry. This has been the best part of the stream all day. You'll see.
We are taking Echo.
Is Q the button? What's the button for the auto hover? Is Q?
Base, we're in good shape here.
Yeah, what it is? E?
It's
Bravo
G.
is being attacked.
G. There we go. Thanks, man. Auto hover disabled. Auto hover enabled. Let's go. Let's go,
We left that
motherfuckers!
server, by the way, boss.
I know. I still want to fly a helicopter. I want to wait till I get a bunch of people in.
Those
We're gonna
sexy marks.
beat them.
Let's do it. Let's
We
do
have
it.
lost Alpha. We have taken Echo.
Heaven's a place. I love this stream.
Perfect.
Thanks, man.
Okay. Got a minute before I can call anything in. Yeah.
Mobile spawn.
Alright, Jordan. Bernie Skinner's school.
Dude, I love this. I love the
Bravo is being
helicopter flying.
attacked.
I just don't like the
We have
landing
lost
part.
Delta.
Did you get
We
the
have
server
taken
tails?
Heaven is a place.
We have lost
I'm watching Bosco right now, real quick.
Yeah, no one's filming my helicopter. I think they're smarter than they look.
Holy shit. Just watched like 4 DC get blown up by sea.
I'm still waiting for some people.
What's up? Cease fire.
Fucking NLS is full.
It is.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna wait.
We are taking Delta.
My squad is great. It's called Bernie Sanders.
Maps look so green, huh?
Calling recon in about 3
We have
seconds.
lost Bravo. RPG incoming.
Yeah, this is cool. I like this. Helicopters are fun, huh?
Rocket coming. Base, we're all good here. The rotor blades are hit. Good
Oh.
shake. Recon is in the air.
Took out my
Echo
rotors.
is being attacked.
That's okay. We're good. We just gotta go land and repair. All we gotta do is land and repair.
We have taken Delta.
Squad lead 3, try to make your way back to Echo.
Alright. It's even now.
Yes, yes.
The server's full.
We
I'm
are
in
taking
queue.
Charlie.
That's why you don't watch Bosco stream.
I'm joining now, though.
Is being attacked.
Alright, cool.
Alright, what was the server called?
Total War Chicago
Alright.
Campaign.
campaign.
Just gonna join off of Pesky because I think that's the way you do it. Server's full. Elapsed time. 2 seconds, okay. Man, I sure do love drinking my fluids.
Precious bodily fluids.
Love drinking my fluids. Wow.
Precious bodily fluids.
What the fuck is the point of the sapper class if you don't actually have any explosives?
Are we on NLF?
Landmine.
Mm.
I have literally nothing but my rifle. I don't get a landmine. I get nothing.
Wow. Ooh, heaven is a place on earth. Oh, we got him. Cool. I'm joining now. What, you on Americans or Sapper? So probably not the Americans.
Vietnam.
Ah, man. Oh, this map, yeah. Vietnam, Vietnam, the only squad team that's full. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you get anything else?
I'm in, but your team's full.
Yeah, I'm waiting for it to uneven up or even up or whatever the word is.
I
I mean, are there helicopters in this map? If so, I'm just gonna fly a helicopter and crash into a building or something.
No helicopter.
Hey. Oh, even worse. Somebody left the other team, so it's even worse. Wait. How do I? Uh-oh.
Y'all should start TKing.
Yeah, y'all
Make people mad.
make people mad. Say the R word, like ridiculous or redonkulous. or-
Redonkulous.
Exactly.
Ridiculous. So.
Well, I mean, if we all join the Americans, all of us can join but Iron. That'd be pretty good, right? Basically the same thing.
How do you have 32 now?
Yeah, how'd you go up one?
What?
We'll see.
Is there like a bug?
I just one, so you're welcome.
Join. Switch. Teams. NLF.
Sorry about that.
There? Nope. It's not a thing.
Sorry about that, as he kills like a dozen fucking people, RC.
My bad. I forgot I can cancel artillery.
I mean, we might have to go to American side, honestly. Do you just want to switch, Pessy?
Yeah, I'm.
See, the thing is, if you both switch, then Americans will be 2 higher.
Yeah.
Flank again.
Like, it's 31 to 29 right now, so.
I mean, it's spectator the whole game.
I mean,
Anti-air defenses are
if that's what I have to do.
You can watch me kill Americans in this little hop.
Fucking faggots.
Wow.
Seriously though, this fucking mid-war sapper kit is legitimately terrible. There's no point in playing it. If you play the fucking regular kit, you get a grenade and a punching trap.
Don't they give you like water barrels or something?
You literally spawn only your
barrels.
Fuel barrels or something.
Yeah, fuel bombs.
The fucking community is fucking
have
docked
literally nothing.
from like
Just a
every
fucking-
fucking
Alright,
part.
we can swap
Every-
to...
Shut up, PewDiePie.
Yeah, I'm Pew and I talk to
Some retard,
Go America.
some retard speaks up and everyone just vote one for F1 for anything
Yeah,
he says.
What's
You're
what's he
weenie.
doing?
Alright guys,
What?
dude, you're a weenie. Recon going up.
You work at
What's General, bro.
Fucking Weenie Hut Jr.
People should be leaving soon, dude.
Dude, you don't
People are
take
mic spamming
take
the
enough
fuck
monster
out.
for me to like you.
language right, buddy.
Alright boys, I got 3 marks in 3 minutes. The marks we have are good, but
in the air.
use later 5, I'm hitting your mark with napalm.
I just got shot.
Alright, Pesky, join Americans now.
Excuse me, can you stop? I'm trying to be
good marks,
a simulator in military life.
Alright, let's do this for Hillary Clinton.
Alright, time to rock some shit and take the rights, boys. Start shooting, grab that gluten.
Napalm inbound. Take cover.
That was a real solid.
Alright, so there's a bunch of VC in front of
Ooh, I
us.
can be that guy? Ooh, I get M2 carbine? Yeah, let's do that.
Iron, your fucking entire body muscles must just be.
Yay, war crimes!
You literally, you're.
Nah, dude,
You're
napalm's
like
not a war
peeking over
crime.
the
It's
edge. Your
just,
entire. You're holding your entire body
know,
up with your fucking forearm.
forget about it.
Oh my god, dude.
See, this is
A lot better than our last commander.
Absolutely,
yeah,
Jack.
our last
Clear that shit out, boy.
Oh my god, man. Oh my god, the M2 is
Actually, wait,
full
don't
auto.
go in yet. Don't go in
AC-47
yet. I'm
inbound.
gonna
You
do like
can swap it.
a few seconds of spooky, then I'm gonna call it
I
off.
don't want to. That was amazing.
Seconds of spooky, call it off, then we go in.
You,
Next.
How'd you switch?
Oh, I got headshotted.
So we gotta get
It's
in.
Actually,
Wait,
you stay
well,
towards
now
the
that-
front.
now that we have a better
well, I
commander,
just accidentally sprayed
If you
at
towards
the
the front,
point,
you should be
got
fine,
3
so.
headshots.
Nice, dude.
Don't quote
Where's
me
the
on
American
that.
Way
but-
recon by fire, dude.
Hey, there's a bunch of enemies in this pit of
Spooky up, Sunday!
Hey,
Pesky, you dead
Pesky,
too? Is everyone dead?
What?
You fire in forearms?
Spooky's range is
I
only
wish
25
I had
meters.
forearms
so
like
you
that.
gotta be towards the front.
You should have like screen cap booted.
Imagine how enormous someone's forearms would be if they could actually.
Just hold up their entire body weight with their fucking forearm.
Let's go, boys. Cap that point, gentlemen. Cap that point. We're on lockdown. This is the final stretch.
Oh, fuck.
Alright, they called AA. I got barrage in 20 seconds. I'm gonna hit squad leader 4's mark. When that barrage starts hitting, I want you to push in.
They're running across a field, like to right. Oh,
Oh
you're dead.
shit, I'm
Iron.
fucking dead, dude.
Oh, your leg got blown up.
Barrage in 10 seconds.
I saw that grenade and I'm like, well, I'm dead.
Born to Kyle. I guess I'll join.
Calling in
I'll
barrage
join
on squad leader
Commander.
4's mark.
Daddy.
Get ready to push in with barrage.
Hi, look at you.
Bravo G6.
What the fuck did you just say?
I'm trying to act retarded. Well, more so than usual.
Alright, boys. You just spawned in. Push in with that barrage.
A Ravidade? Okay, grenade. Hey,
Slap some cheeks.
Just mix like English and Italian words together and you'll sound super retarded.
Lasagna is the only thing I can think of right now. Commander, lasagna, let's go forward. Meatball.
You know, probably not the best artillery I've ever called, but you know. We're pushing in, guys. There's a ton of you outside the point. Use those smokes. Push in.
Let's go lasagna over there.
Just talk like an Italian plumber.
Smoke that shit.
Hey, I'm gonna get out of here.
Hey, let's go get those Goombas over there with lasagna and the plumbing.
There's like a good 6 of you outside that point. There's smokes in there. Run in.
Get out of here.
Why aren't you communicating with me?
Hey, Tone. How come they're not greatest allies if they keep bombing us shit?
You know what? Fucking chuck grenades too. Smoke and HE grenades.
Alright, I got smoke grenades.
Blow everything up, boys. Blow them up.
Alright, through the smoke we need.
Come on, we got a minute 50 seconds.
I threw the meatball. I threw the meatball, sir.
We got
I'm just
another
not
spooky ready in
autistic
50
enough
seconds,
to
but
fucking
gotta cap.
understand 4chan, dude.
He's fucking ignoring me.
Probably not.
Big boss, let's get in.
Like,
What's up, dude? You're
every
missing out.
time you guys
Raise how we eat cornbread, gentlemen. Raise how we eat cornbread.
and try and fucking understand it.
We're doing it, boys. We're doing
My
it.
small brain just is like, I don't get it, but
Oh,
these
don't let it
pictures
go
are
back
kinda
down.
funny.
Don't go in the wrong way, boys.
You're too much of a fucking normie, yeah.
Fucking
25 seconds till spooky.
Pesky's
Yeah.
like bear hugging his fucking M4 as he like wraps a bandage around.
We going, boss?
Are you in this?
me, Ma.
Where did you die?
Yeah, I died and I was like looking at you
Oh,
from
ops.
spectator mode, and you're like bear hugging your rifle as you were wrapping a bandage around your.
Listen, guys, we need to make Nixon proud. Let's go.
This is my rifle,
Let's go. Spooky's
There
going
are
in.
many
We're gonna
like
get some
it,
support.
but
Push
this
in.
one is mine.
Man,
Smokes, they are important.
imagine being told to charge in this position in real life. Like, literally everyone that has gone before you has been mowed down, and you're just endlessly fucking throwing more troops at it.
Apollo G.
See your
was
buddy just like
trying
get
to
exploded
request
right in front of us.
quickly.
Like, at what point do you just like shoot yourself in the leg and to not have to fucking die?
Well, the thing is, you don't have to follow an order if it's like illegal.
I mean, is telling him with a charge into a fucking killing
Tried to call it
field.
spooky, but I got killed.
No.
Yeah, dog.
So, I don't know.
I would rather be court-martialed
Right,
for
you said it
shooting
every time.
myself than fucking die for fun.
We've been defeated.
Oh,
lost
we got
the game,
wrecked,
dude.
Not our fault. We had a special commander half the game.
A special commander.
Shut up, you whitey.
Bosco should go command.
No, I don't want to, dude.
Yes, you do.
Someone's
Don't
gonna
fucking
TK
lie
me.
to us.
Someone's gonna TK me, dude.
Hey, Lynn.
Leonard's a girl's name.
Please, SpongeBob. Yes, get the SpongeBob.
That was a good game, guys. Thanks for the lasagna and meatballs.
So I've been trying to get Kelly to go to this restaurant for the past, I don't know, 4
Does it have
years.
spaghetti meatball?
No, it's called Our Daily Bread. It's like a bakery.
Sounds like a fucking emo band.
Other shit.
Daily bread.
And her friend, she like went to brunch with her friend, and her friend like insisted that they go
Oh,
there.
we're still taking that rice, boys. I
And
wasn't
so
kidding
she
about
went,
that.
and now
It's
she
our
fucking
rice
loves
now.
it. Like I've been trying to get her to go here for like 5 years.
Wow. Maybe if you were a friend, you would understand.
Play nice, get that rice.
How does it make you feel that you have less value than her friend does?
When I come up
How
there,
does it make you feel that
we should go there.
she's only agreed to marry you, but she's fucking die for her friend?
Sorry, Pesky, I didn't hear you over Bosco autism and whatever's going on in the server.
Fuck off!
Oh my god, the fuck
really
is
gonna try
going
to
on in the
backslide on her?
server?
This music takes like 2 seconds.
That's probably not the best idea for them, but they can do it if they want.
I can't do it because
You hit
this
tab and click on the mic.
But I can't. It's covered by this fucking map
right.
thing. I've already muted all of you. I don't know why.
So, Pesky, what did you say?
I said when I come up later this month, we should go there.
Yeah, we should go with our
Sounds
daily
good to
emo
me.
red band.
Yeah, dog.
Dude, we gotta defend Saigon against the communists, alright?
They have crepes, so you can make your friends proud.
The fuck does that even
They
mean?
both have the
Very
same
excited.
exact number of casualties.
Man, I sure hate white
Same.
people.
Number of fucking casualties, but they have like 100 more combat power.
USA.
That's right, dude.
boys.
We got the full power of Bosco's awesome as the commander.
Yeah, if I get in, dude.
I think this is the first time I've
Time to
played
crush some
a
commie
fucking
dreams.
campaign where I think
Marvin
we're
sucks
actually
dick.
run out of combat power.
Hey,
This is like
I like
really
I like
low.
that one, Garen. All right.
Well, then you suck dick too.
I mean, you
All
know,
the turbo autists got let loose by the retard wrangler.
The retard wranglers. That's us, man. That's us.
That's what I named the squad, the Tard Wranglers.
Oh my goodness. Let's see if I can get in commander. If I get commander, I'll do some damage. If I can't get commander, I'll just do what I usually do and just fucking be an autist. Well, I'll be both autist and autist. We'll see, man. I don't know. Commander's not fun, man. Commander's not fun anymore. Everyone keeps making fun of you. They say, you're only level 33. You're not good at commander. That means fucking queer. You don't know anything about this game. You only have like 12 hours in it.
You suck dick.
Literally, some guy was bitching at me because I didn't have 1,000 hours in this game.
I have no light that I play this game. Like,
And then he comes and
24/7.
TKs me because he's fucking stupid. He's trying to tell me that napalm doesn't work through buildings. I'm like, that's not the fucking point. That's not even why I'm using the napalm, you dinglebear. I'm using it to fucking block reinforcements. Alright, I'm going to America. Right
cheeks.
Shut the fuck up!
now. No, I can't.
Why'd you come here and make me, huh? Where the fuck are you? Wait until I find you.
I can't be commander.
Suck his dick. Suck his dick.
I will.
Alone.
I'm one with the tree.
Dude, I'm already.
Floppy toppy.
Alright, I got a flamethrower.
Well,
So
I'm a gr-
napalm's
I'm a-
gonna be
I'm a-
sticking
I'm a
this
gr-
kid.
I'm a grenader.
Alpha. Let's show them why we're the fucking alpha chat.
I'm gonna get a fucking revolver too. So
All right, we got a minute 30 to any support.
Damn. It's unfortunate that kids didn't fit.
What?
napalm because he said
Try to stay
kids
inside the
don't
building
fit.
if you can.
Because Quayos wants to fit inside kids because he a fucking
How do you
pedo.
do
How close artillery?
He's Epstein's protege?
Yeah,
Is that what you're saying?
he's saying kids just won't
Hey
fit in
guys,
his
can
mouth.
someone send me some
I don't
Send
know,
you an
man.
angel?
My mouth's like decently sized. I'm sure I could fit a kid, but
Oh my
that's
god.
not what I said.
Yeah, you said I don't. Too bad kids don't fit.
All right, we got a minute till
Yeah,
support.
because the squad
I
name
got
is
one
Napalm
mark from
Sticks to
squad leader
Kids.
5.
Yeah,
get
yeah,
some more
yeah. I
shit.
feel like you're just filling in the gaps up just to
Hey, can
protect
someone
yourself.
buy me some steel, please?
Can you just shut the fuck up, please?
Just hire a Korean dude, man.
Oh shit, you right.
Dude, where are we going?
We're defending buildings. We're defense, right?
Man, thank you.
Yeah.
So defend American Embassy.
We're defending the American Embassy,
Hey,
dude.
you guys want?
I've never played this map. I'm scared.
Doesn't matter. It's just the same map every map. You just defend.
Just defend the embassy, dude. You ever seen the actual news?
I don't know why I have a grenade launcher. I'm not gonna fucking kill anybody with this thing. in close quarters.
Kyle?
I got a lot of them moving east, Sarge.
Alright, we got 20
Hey.
seconds, 20 support.
Hey, communists, eat my dick.
Hey, Gabe.
Communism, eat my dick.
Here for the war.
Oh, I fucking grenaded him in the face.
Pretty loud.
I thumped some guy in the
Blowing up your
face.
guns for the game sound.
Iron, did you hear that? I thumped him
What about
in the
now?
face.
Yeah, that's why it's called Thumper, dude.
He didn't explode,
Just
just
pushed
thumped
it
him.
away. I'm in the corner of my desk now.
Dude, I fucking
Can't you see me?
Dude, I got
Alright,
sniped
calling in
through the
recon.
fucking window.
His windows kind of suck.
Alright, eyes on compass. Big boss.
Not even
is following
windows,
the
it's just like the building itself. There's holes in it.
Okay, go over there. Be my cover.
Okay, spread out from A. We still got time.
Alright, we're gonna hold left flank clads, cause fuck that.
is in the air.
I think we got guys coming in H6
He said, did he say
from
age
the
6?
southwest side.
Did you say age 6? There's guys coming in for age 6 kids. What?
We'll call in some napalm right in front of the
What is with
point.
this Epstein raid going on right now?
Napalm right in case it kills any of it. Shouldn't, but it might.
So
like,
Viet Cong
you know.
were part of Epstein's entourage.
All had that.
Oh, move the fuck out of the way! Move, 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 move!
Confirmed Epstein's protege.
What alpha we're gonna
Fuck
get
bitches, get rice.
Big boss, something to count on.
Napalm inbound. Take cover.
Oh, that's perfect.
Alright, Iron, I am moving up with you, buddy.
Alright, I got napalm, so. Portable napalm. Oh god, we can't get.
Oh, dude, goober roobers. You guys getting melted down there, aren't you? Yum, yum, yum. Not tasty little
Damn, like
Vietnamese.
that napalm.
Mmm, they taste like...
Fire
They
Napalm bomb.
really do.
Daddy
Spooky,
fat chicken,
just,
dude.
you know, cause fuck them. Insult.
I don't know how far the combat zone goes up.
Please don't crouch in front of me when I'm shooting a thumper. I don't want to blow your face off, dude.
They're still down here. Watch out for it.
Oh shit, dude.
Run,
Watch this
Forrest,
shit. Watch
run.
this
Get them
flank.
out of that building, boys.
I'm dead, fuck.
What? You got
Dude.
fucked by a guy.
The great thing about the
hope you're wearing
Grenadier
socks.
class, you have
Listen,
little
man,
white fox
I only
grenade
fuck
too.
straight dudes. Sign on that gay shit.
Dude, they have like
Don't come at me
200
with
plus
that.
points on.
Shit, there's one in here.
Well, because I think we get... I don't
They
know.
have like the Ho Chi Minh Trail.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like Tet offensive, dude. Saigon shit.
Oh, fucking A. Got shot to the...
I don't know why they don't have case on it.
Get in there.
Yeah,
Clear them out.
Wow!
Got fucking
That
blown
was
up by
so
Spooky.
fucking gay!
Sorry about that, team.
Dude, when you go outside of your fire, the combat zone, you can't
Calling in
fire.
recon.
You know about
Yeah.
this? Are
Doesn't
you,
like-
are you new to this game?
Dude, I peeked around this fucking wall
Yeah, and you
because I
felt
knew
like
there was a
vigilante
guy
in the
there.
They are in
Fucking
the
hell.
back part of the embassy, so I'll be
3 minutes till napalm.
I used to
6
play this
minutes
game
till
called
spooky. Artillery's ready.
Shootout, and it was made by Kuma Games, and we had this
Recon is
exact
in the air.
embassy map, but it was made with the Half-Life 1 engine. It's actually, this is actually giving me some really big nostalgia boner right now. Like Shootout was their History Channel show.
Watch the back left.
yeah.
Calling in artillery on
This is giving
squad
me like the
leader
biggest
5
boner
mark.
right now.
West flank.
Oh shit, they're calling already.
Boy, better get inside
Get
the
the
fucking
house.
building.
Enemy artillery coming in.
Yeah, Bosco, I know exactly what you were talking about. I played it too.
Oh yeah, what was your handle, dude?
I don't even remember.
We used to play
That
together.
was before I
in
played
your
like
big.
any sort of computer game.
Maybe, what was your handle,
That was
dude?
actually
Maybe
like,
you were a big fucking pussy, and I fucking taught you how to play the game.
Oh man, that was
Coyote
such
move.
a nice mark.
3, 2, there you go.
Well, there should be one more. That should be the last one
Oh,
after
we
this.
killed their commander.
You can go. Bosco.
I have a fucking grenade thumper.
A lot
I
of
don't need
daddy
to like be
man.
there. I just need to fucking shoot.
Alright,
what
come on,
the
we
doors
pour it
are.
on, pour it on.
Get in there. Clear them out.
There are.
Get in it,
Like,
get in it.
Oh, they're already in it.
yeah, they're in the point right now. We
Get
didn't
the
get
fuck
in.
in there.
Most of their team's dead, guys.
Roger.
Rape their body.
Hey, I got empty bodies in SL1.
Hold it for
They're shooting at
America.
me.
Dude, my mark
They're
out
shooting
like
at me.
fucking kills.
Nice, dude.
I'm scared.
You're a big boy.
Just
You're
bullets
a
flying through the
big
walls
boy
of
now.
this building. They're
I'm
trying.
not gonna lie, Flamethrower
Alright.
kinda sucks on this
Got
map.
minute 20 till napalm.
Oh, they're flanking hard on this left
Oh wait,
flank.
do I not have white phosphorus?
Alpha's being
Yeah,
attacked.
you should.
No, I do. I do.
Well, are you
No, I do.
an
It's-
engineer or what?
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm a thumper, dude. But I do have a white phosphorus. Just didn't
I've
go
played
off.
this map a bunch of times, but I've never lost Alpha. Really?
I
Fucking
am
awful.
so sorry.
That's the first time for everything.
Holy
boy.
shit, I just killed fucking Ford 2's Nate.
That's alright, I flamed like 3 dudes with
They're really trying to kill me back here.
You see the flames?
I tried to kill you.
I did. I may have actually seen some dudes running from your
50 seconds till
flames.
napalm.
They probably were running from the flames and they ran into your grenade on them.
Like, I heard all the screaming, and then two dudes ran
so
past my
sorry.
window.
They probably ran from the flame.
I sure as fuck would run from
30 seconds till napalm.
I ain't ashamed to admit that I do not want to burn alive.
The man we hold out and good.
The thumpers don't go off. I'm too close.
Bitch. Try to clear out that south side, boys.
There's another one.
Got it, boss.
Feeling a little coast.
Do you
Cold
see
there,
the
friend?
do you see all the kills, dude? All the war crimes we can. I'm gonna go
Napalm coming in on squad leader one's mark, south side of the point. Along the road.
I like how it was a fucking cadence.
If I
Bring
didn't
in
thump
front of
anybody,
range.
there's gotta be no one in this fucking building.
They're like literally pushing through the front walls. And,
Oh, they're on the bottom
left.
floor? Nice.
Coming on the top.
Oh,
Yeah, they're
sniper,
trying to
of course.
push through the bottom front building. Front of
Napalm inbound. Take cover.
2 minutes, 20 seconds
This
till
might be a good
spooky.
napalm again.
Got snipped. Napalm sticks to kids.
This should do some
Jelly
damage.
sticks to kid.
Here comes.
Oh fuck. Look at the fireworks, Bosco.
Holy shit, man.
Screams. They're beautiful.
Let's come out of their
Good
misery.
Killed their
boss.
commander again, man. I
Keep
don't know what the
trying to
fuck
sneak
he's
up.
doing. He's trying to ambush, but it's not working. Calling in recon.
We should ambush him.
Be there around this wall.
We should bayonet charge.
Yeah.
Dude,
We should start growing
To one
right.
side.
Don't.
They're going around.
There's
Far,
our sniper.
far, far.
Oh my
They're going far to
God.
left. Watch out. They're going around far.
Iron,
He's
that
dead.
was cool, but
There was another one running around, I'm saying. Like going this way. To that way.
Recon is in the air.
Careful.
Already pushing through the wall again. Fuck.
We got people coming in on the southwest side. It's like 210.
oh, come on,
Yeah, you
Pez.
can't like push
And
around the
west.
wall. You're out
Sorry,
of the combat
Papa
zone.
Bear, I thought you were out of there.
That's some shit,
I
dude.
killed him, Papa.
Oh, I am so sorry, Loud.
Let's just hold that building you're in. You can't.
What the fuck happened?
Yeah.
Alright, you heard the boss. Get in,
A
get in,
minute
get
10
in,
till
get in.
spooky. I think there's a sniper at 2.
Wait, I could just sit by the fuck. I could just fucking mortar them with my
230?
thumper from across the map. What am I doing?
Yeah, two snipers.
Yeah, you can shoot in their swamps. You-
You're a radio man.
I just need to know if my hits are hitting.
Oh yeah,
That's enemy already coming in.
Commander, there's parties on you.
Get covered. They're trying to get me, but
That's a lot of fucking people dead.
Enemy is running out of time.
hold it.
Inside.
Getting ready to call spooky. Oh, I got 30 seconds.
Alpha is being attacked.
I wish I knew where my
Take
thumper
this
was
point,
landing. I
boys.
could definitely do that damage with this thing.
You heard
guess
the
he's-
man. Shit, squad lead, you need to use your smokes. Dead on tight.
I was walking in
15
there just
seconds
like,
till
oh
spooky.
man, I just got fucked.
They
Yeah,
have
get in
the
there.
east and west flanks.
We can't lose Alpha, people.
We can get in, we
We
can get in,
lost
we can
that
get in. Reverse it, get your ass on the point.
It's fucking GG.
We got it. We got it. We can hold it. We can hold it. We can hold it.
Oh, never mind. I guess not.
We have lost Alpha.
Oh shit, boy.
Fall back.
Good
Like
try,
every
good
single
try.
person in this church.
Alright, I'm gonna flamethrower people with it.
Get a radio on me.
Sure, I want to fight communism, but what about napalm? Question mark.
Don't just reconvene in the point.
Fucking shanked it, dude.
They're trying
Sweet.
to there.
Killed Ted the dire wolf.
Alright, Big Papa, call out. What squads, what
Hey, buddy,
what
give me some
side?
ammo.
I
Buddy.
got Alpha. What do you want?
I
What do
got
you want me to
Alpha.
watch?
Nope, not possible. Okay, it's fine. It's good. It's steady now.
Let me look at the map. I need people watching all the stairs. At least one person watching all the staircases. Or on each.
I think they can
Alright,
get
alright,
in through this
alright.
back.
Hey, listen, squad 1, you watch east side. That's
Just
what we're
fucking
doing.
thump through. I just thumped three
Recon
guys.
coming in. Get ready to update marks.
Oh, 2, I guess. Whatever. Not too big.
Let's hold these catacombs, lad.
No!
So,
If we have any flamethrowers, I want them on the bottom floor.
Hey, there's also
Big
a
boss,
tunnel
I got
on the
your-
fucking
you just wanna watch
like,
this
top
whole
west
pesky?
fucking cathedral, like in it.
There's a
So watch
hole
that.
in there. Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Just reminds me of Dodge
I'll
map
get
now.
spooked on
Focus,
Squad
recon
Leader
up.
5 mark.
It's basement. It reminds me of that one Dodge map with the
let me
biggest
know if they push through
Sorry.
there.
They're coming in
Yeah.
Yeah, tunnel
Alright,
in
which
the
from the
cathedral.
south
Alright, I
side.
can't fucking
Watch
shit.
They
down
can
the
come
road.
up from the
Just watch
basement in the
This
fucking
way?
middle
Okay.
and to the west.
I just... God, I can't fucking think.
Yeah, watch that basement. Watch that basement.
We've,
need to get in the crypt,
we've got guys in the catacombs watching the tunnels.
AC-47
Okay, also on the west side, apparently they
mic's
can just
super
vault
quiet.
over the
They're
fucking
straight
wall
on
because the
south.
guy just did that and I killed him.
No.
Can I get a mark? South side.
My mic?
Oh no, can you?
Iron?
No. Ozzy's in
May I-
here. You can't even
Oh.
fucking hear him.
Wait,
Oh,
so,
fuck.
Sorry, I don't want to fall down. Don't hate me.
wait.
You're that guy, boss.
Yeah. Like, echoes.
I fell down. It didn't take too long.
We're a
Sound
little
like he was in the
low on the
submarine.
east side. They're coming in.
Oh my god, I'm
Fucking
so
shoot me,
horny.
dick.
We need some guys
His
watching the
sound
east side of
card
this
is like
thing.
all
My
or
dick
something.
is so. I love being the basement. My dick is so hard.
Nah, we're all playing Rising Storm 2.
Oh,
Why do you want to play squad?
Following artillery on Squad Leader 3's mark.
who is this? I
Oh
don't
wait,
know who
Vicky's
this
still up. I
is.
can't.
is that game?
It's toast.
What's up, Toast? How you doing,
Really
man?
fun.
Good, man.
It's great. You get a flamethrower and
Do
you
you wanna-
commit war crime.
Do you want a free
I
copy?
can't hear a thing you're saying. Give me 10 seconds because Madden's opening fucking volume is the loudest fucking thing I've ever heard on the goddamn planet unnecessarily. Whoever decided to turn it the fuck
I think I have
up.
a free.
Kind of low there on the east
Shot.
side.
I think I have a free copy of Rising Storm.
Southeast side of
Because
the
Big
basement.
iron.
Yeah, man. Let's
Big
default, turn it all the
iron.
way up like it's a fucking
Something
commercial.
about the Ranger with the big
TV.
iron.
Let's be that asshole.
Following artillery on Squad Leader 3's mark.
Grenade in here? That smoke, everyone.
Hey, Ozzy, our squad name right now is
I
Napalm 6 to Kids.
Iron, I can't use my thumper because there's fucking people in front of me, and if I shoot, I'm gonna frag them.
Yeah.
So, just let you know, I'm
That's
not gonna be useful for a bit.
Just wait till they die.
Yeah, that's my plan. So I'm just saying, if
Oh
you
fuck, bad name, bad name, bad name.
don't be expecting me to shoot instantly, because I don't want to get
I don't know if
TKs.
they're inside, but I feel like they are.
They are inside. They killed me in the radio, man.
Where are they at?
They're on the first floor on the east side. There's like no one over there.
I don't even know how I managed to hit the fucking
Got a whole bunch on the second floor in the catacombs.
fucking ceiling of the tunnel like that.
Well, I have 3 kills. I fucking suck. I took
Yeah, we
like
need some more on the first floor.
Watching over it too.
I don't even know. I have the most kills in the squad, so y'all should be ashamed of yourselves.
Yeah, well, I only got
Yeah.
1 kill with a thumper at the face, and then 1 multi-kill with a frag.
Oh, someone got Molotov above us.
Yeah, I heard that.
Someone in here named Born the Kyle.
I just want them to come down here and just fucking melt.
Did you guys die?
No,
That's
come
all.
down here.
I get a
Oh
radio
no,
on.
pushing out, pushing out.
People.
Dude, go back, go back.
What do you mean go
Can't
back?
fucking shoot when you get out of it.
Oh, you don't have pistols? Yeah, you can't use your
Well,
primary. Shit,
yeah,
I
but
take
when when you get out of it, you're out of the combat range.
They're just walking into the main road.
I think I killed
Hey,
somebody.
holy shit, you guys got smoke grenades? Fucking use them when we're crossing the
I hope that wasn't friendly.
That
down.
fucking coyote dude got killed somehow. Maybe he read
Just
out
fucking
of
throw a
the,
frag in there. That shit.
that area.
Get the fucking.
I need to go up to the top, I guess.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Good luck, fucking peasant. I mean, white
I
walls.
need to go up top. They're capping.
We have to go up
Are
there.
you shitting me?
You just walk
There was
into
no
the
fire
wall.
there.
There's tons of fire. You walk through it. Oh.
Shit, bad nade. I'm sorry.
No, dude, I made sure to wait.
I think
Still
we're gonna.
going.
Oh no, we're
They're
taking them
about to
back.
cap.
Maybe
Yeah,
not.
they
Fall
cap.
back.
Good job, team. Awesome sauce. Whoa.
Let's go, Charles.
Radio man on me.
This park is fucking stupid.
I just white phosphored like a couple people,
Alright,
I think.
calling in recon. I
Yep,
need
that's
you, Mark.
good. Yeah, good shit.
Return to the combat area.
Are you still in the catacombs?
Yeah. I gotta play it tight, dude. I'm gonna take as many of them as I can out, you know?
If you guys go up the bridge, you can probably like.
Recon is in the air.
We're all on your 6.
Oh shit.
I'm dead.
Kill the combat bastard.
Squad leader.
Who's on the corner?
Squads 2 and 4. I need you on Charlie.
Charlie is being attacked. Return to the combat area.
Already?
on
What the fuck? I'm swarming Delta too.
I might
I
be
got
able,
him.
I might be able to pull off something interesting if I can do this. If I can get up this fucking ladder. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh no 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 no! He saw me. Damn. That's unfortunate. Once we lost A, I think we pretty much lost this game. Because they're keeping their advantage.
Behind D.
Yeah, they have a lot of points.
Fuck back. Charlie.
Fucking A, dude. Where I was at was like apparently in multiple fucking reticles and got me butt-pwned up my bum.
Yeah, they have like 200 more.
Yes, I mean we were bleeding them heavy on A, but once we lost A, they lost that bleed. Like
They're on this main road.
A was the best place because there's like they were all confined.
Oh my god.
I mean, it looks like E is going to be a really good position. They have to go through this fucking open-ass field to get into the building.
You dead, Iron?
Yeah, they're down that road.
Which side?
Just down the road, cross. I don't know what side exactly.
Fuck you, dude. Fuck.
I feel like
fucking General Patton, motherfuckers. Melted them with the white phosphorus. Yes.
Oh shit!
Fucking
Delta is being attacked.
I did forget.
NLF has some old-ass tanks.
Dude, I got fucking 2 kills in that one. Not too bad.
Everybody's fucking T-34.
I might be even on kills now finally, so that's good. That means I have.
Fuck, that was my fault.
Shoved his mic in his ass.
Why give him the objective if we could take it back?
Honestly, honestly, Delta's
What?
not even worth it. Just lock down Charlie.
Don't hold
You
Delta
can make him
left.
take Charlie floor by floor.
Delta's super open.
Wait, you don't keep your mic in your ass?
Like we would get
I
destroyed
do.
by artillery.
Scout way.
Just make him come at it to Charlie.
I believe
It's gonna be a
that.
bitch if they gotta come inside.
Thanks for the tip.
Safekeeping, man. Sign a receipt for that.
Dude, that's what your mom said. She told me the
dude,
exact
I
same
don't
words.
know
She
that.
said thanks for the tip when
Recon is in the air.
I gave her a tip when she was a pizza boy. There.
Wait, can I get a
Pizza
mark
boy?
in
Oh god, they're in Charlie.
E5?
I don't know, can you?
Calling artillery on squad leader 5's mark. Try to get closer to C, guys.
Oh, dude, I have no idea where he is.
Are we abandoning D?
He's outside on the balcony.
Wait, no. Yeah, just went out.
Is there?
Dude, we abandoned D, right?
Yes.
Listen,
fuck
Kyle
D.
can see them through the wall, bro. He's juiced on monster.
Dude, I got aim hack, bro.
Take cover.
It's all because of his.
Can I get a point? Can I get a mark?
Shit, they're coming up the stairs to see.
We should hold this flank outside of Charlie.
Get on the stairs. Come here, they're coming up.
Got a team wound.
Come in.
The one thing I can do is I can. Ooh, that's a lot of arty.
We can do this, boys. We can get them in the lockdown.
Yeah, that's my mark. Best marks.
Man, they come up the stairs, I got you.
VC, go home. VC, go home.
Hey, let's hold that flank from where they're coming in from Delta, because I don't want to all sit in the fucking flank.
You on Delta? Alright.
Spooky on squad leader 2's mark.
Well, not Delta exactly, just the buildings to the right of Charlie.
Oh boy, this is gonna hurt.
Watch out, they're jumping fucking already on the cart.
That fucking hurt like a hurt machine.
Yes.
AC-47 inbound.
Those dreaded hurt machines.
There's like T-34s on this map.
Yeah. Fucking LF. Really.
Tanks?
Dogs.
Yeah.
You can't actually drive them.
Be aware of that spooky.
They're like props in them.
It's like, I know there's helicopters. I
Just
didn't
give
know
me
there
a
were
dog
tanks.
shit.
Oh, we can hold this. We definitely can hold this. I like to think I'm
I
aware.
guess the good thing is that we won't run out of tickets before we run out of fucking place to defend.
I'm glad it's called spooky because it's almost Halloween.
Fuck that guy. Somebody shoot him in the face.
It's always almost Halloween, you bitch.
To be honest, she works at retail, so black every day just for Halloween.
Iron,
Halloween's like
They shut down.
2 months away.
Iron, I got your 6, dude.
Gotta wait till artillery's done before I can call
Thumper,
napalm.
so if they,
Or not artillery.
they're grouped up in like 20 meters out.
So we gotta
Yeah,
hold
that's
this
right.
and just our guns for a little while, boys.
Listen, it's gonna be second story.
Sorry, this car.
Trying to give you some support here, buddy. Hope that helped.
All we gotta do is hold it for lockdown.
Dude, I'm gonna switch off flamethrower because this sucks on this map.
Oh, fucking A. The fucking grenade launcher doesn't reload all the time I want it to. That'll fucking piss me off. Yeah, you really shouldn't be flamethrower. You're not good with it.
They're coming for our ass.
Damn, I love squad 1.
Idiot, you suck cock.
You're not using it right. You have to fucking use it
suck
correctly.
what?
Cock.
Cover the whole building.
Cack. You got some cack? You got some rockhead cack?
Hey, Commander, take a look at me. Take a look at squad 1.
You suck more than trying to get your cat card.
Hey, Commander, take a look at me. Take a look at Squad 5.
They let me keep it.
Commander, look
Calling in
at
recon. 35 seconds from
Hey,
napalm.
Commander,
Sorry
take a look
about
at
that.
us.
Oh, they can hear me. Fucking kill him.
Iron, I found out where to go. I found your hiding spot. There's a water fountain here. Laying here with the flamethrower. Iron, I found it.
Recon is
Oh,
in the
dude,
air.
how?
You killed Coyote, dude.
Yeah, he's running in front of me.
Shit, they're right up on our ass.
They're up in this building.
Iron, you got smoke? They're coming upstairs.
It's a wet and
See out,
wild,
they're on the second
wonderful
floor.
land.
Grenades in, grenades in.
Napalm on
There's a tunnel here?
squad leader
Nice.
5 mark.
Why would we make tunnels that only weak?
You hear that, Gooks?
Oh my god, that
You
guy
gon'
said-
fry.
You guys hear?
You gon' fry.
That guy might be actually offensive in multiple languages.
Look at the cack. Look at the kick.
Napalm inbound. Take
Napalm's
cover.
inbound, dude. Tape cover.
Napalm 60 kid.
Shoot right at a dude.
Should be a good napalm mark because that's where I'm running in from. Watch this shit. Yeah, get some. Fuck yeah, napalm.
Let's see how many you guys got. 3, 2, 1, go. 1 kill. Nice. 2
Alright, we
kills.
gotta hold him
That
for a little
shit,
bit,
dude.
guys.
I'm a god at fire support, Mark.
You really are good. A god?
God.
A god? Make sure we get this thing fucking
Listen,
loaded
whoever's in front of me, stay laying down, please. I got eyes on that doorway with a shotgun.
I'll hold this building. I'm in.
My anus is bleeding.
God. Just constantly
2
getting
minutes.
fucking dumb.
up. Yeah, dude, they can't turn off, man.
Just hold this building where I'm in, Pesky.
Ooh. That team kill.
My bad.
Holy shit, dude.
Hey, we need to start branching out from C to protect the flanks,
Like a
otherwise
weird
they're just gonna
lag
keep
spike
swarming
here.
us and we're gonna lose
We're
it.
coming up.
Yep.
Hey, Kiosk,
Try
they're
to take some of the
coming
buildings
out of
around,
these
see if you
buildings.
can. Not everybody, but just a couple people. One in recon.
Okay. Being very, very sneaky. Very sneaky beaky like. If they don't see me, I can get some easy fucking bumpy kills.
Recon is in the air.
Minute 15 till artillery.
Check nades out the window.
There's a sniper behind C.
They're inside,
I
guys.
need people watching behind C, they're breaching from there.
Oh, fuck, I got TK'd.
Enemy already coming in.
Fucking A.
Rip.
I get a mark in E4 in front of the point, a little farther out.
Try.
Use your grenades if you have to.
This guy's.
This enemy already isn't helping.
Big Destiny, I got
Can't
one.
see shit.
I'm Mr. Brightside.
Just keep holding the house, man.
I'm Mr. Telephone.
Charlie is being attacked.
Hold it, 20 seconds, 20 seconds.
I'm Mr. Nice Guy. You're Mr. Mean Old Man.
Commander, it looks like there's only 3 of us on the 3rd floor here. That's me, you.
Alright, well hold it, hold it, hold it.
Double headshot.
Oh, squad leader 3, no, move that mark up.
You heard the man, hold it!
I need a mark in front of the point. Throw your marker grenades.
My man, whoever I just shot.
Shit.
Alright, we're holding this house
Broken
till
arrow.
last man
Broken
bleds.
arrow.
Someone please, in front of the point.
I'm Mr. Television.
Godspeed, gentlemen. Squad leader 2, don't move that mark.
Speed
Allahu Akbar.
Is that you across the street, Kiel?
Yeah. It's Bessie.
No, Bessie.
Alright, I'm gonna try to get across and throw C4 on that fucking
I have
tunnel.
4 spawn ready, so stay inside for the love of God. Broken arrow,
You're shooting down
gentlemen.
the
This
street.
is broken arrow.
Ah, shit, I'm dead.
Broken asshole, 10-4.
Broken
I'm
arrow.
just gonna hold this point. Oh, dude, that is danger close.
A-firm broken asshole.
Okay, hey, they're coming from the other side here.
asshole.
My entire fucking body is critically injured.
Just have fragmentation all over your fucking legs and
Don't run in the
shit.
objective if an RT like called in on it.
Alright, squad alpha, if
No,
you're gonna
everyone just
respawn, we're
fucking
circling
jump on the
around,
fucking
we're
head.
fucking gooking them in the back.
I love when they do that shit. Hey guys, don't
Be
fucking.
calm, be calm.
Charlie is
They're coming up
being
the
attacked.
stairs, Commander.
Coming up the stairs, Commander. It was me.
What the
Commander, I have a problem. They come up the stairs, but I need to get another beer.
Let's go.
Damn, dude. Alright, let's charge and we'll hit him in the back. Oh god, rip.
We're still like staying consistent at half of their tickets, dude.
Yeah, they have like 300 more than we start.
I mean, it's just about time. at this
Broken
point.
asshole
We have
again.
to like hold. That's all we gotta do.
No,
is
yeah,
hold.
if we don't get locked down at this point, we're fucked.
We did. Well, there's
We're
like
not
7
gonna get
minutes
locked
left.
down.
We have lost Charlie.
I mean,
Fall
there's
back.
6 minutes
Fall back.
left. So, I mean, we
Broken
can
goose.
probably, maybe.
I mean, honestly,
It's gonna be close, but
I think
Damn,
that
I'm playing more to the fuck.
these last points look really easy to hold. As long as we don't run out of tickets, I think it's awesome.
We got 130. Should be.
My M. My
Return to the
M16,
combat
Charlie.
area.
Just pull up. Slow them down. Don't let them
Camp
in
the
the
fucking
building.
building. Camp on the
they got fucking C.
Do not leave this building,
Yeah, they
boys.
charged it.
Crossing across. East side.
We didn't even kill
Fuck.
them either.
They're going long.
We're gonna lose a lot
I
of
get a
fucking
radio.
tickets getting
Here.
off this point.
Let's hold this trench. There's a bunker up here.
I'm gonna move out once I get a kill. I don't feel like moving out until I at least get one kill.
Return to the combat area.
Make sure you mark targets with Z, guys.
Infantry
I wanna hold
spawn.
this bunker up here.
Echo is being attacked.
What? How?
Probably no one to
Oh, that dude, they were real fast.
Clear them out of this building.
But we're in front of E. I don't understand.
That's the lower floor.
Set marks. Set marks.
Come on, they can't be already taking the stick.
I need a radio.
Return to the combat area.
Hey, they're taking E. They're taking E.
Where's my radio,
Give them the stick.
man?
What the fuck, people?
Get down to the first floor. Down to the first floor.
Get on the first floor, guys. Clear them out. Clear them out.
Sorry, Destiny. You fucking
Apparently,
pushed
I
Put
got
grenades if you have to.
We have lost Echo.
Fuck.
Hey, they're
Take that
pushing
shit
this
back.
way.
He's got trench foot.
There's no way we're doing this now. They have too much time.
He hurt his species and he has trench foot.
My footsies. He didn't change the socks and take Morton.
Shit hurts, dude. You always change your socks, dude.
Come on, guys, get in here.
Fucking
Give him some
noob.
moleskin.
Dude, yeah, moleskin helps a bit, but doesn't do great even when you fuck it up. The idea is prevention, not, you know, healing. Healing's gonna heal anyway.
They're on the left side of the house. We can retake Echo.
Right, can I get a mark in front of the building?
Like,
Actually, Squad Leader 6, that's a good mark. Don't move it.
Wasted your time.
Call Napalm on Squad Leader 6's mark.
You can get from behind the building. You can throw in grenades. The part of the building.
That's what I'm
Good job
planning
taking
doing,
back E, guys.
Bubbarino.
We have taken Echo.
Yo, Squad Leader 1, we need you on point.
Hold this shit.
Napalm sticks to kid.
I mean, it's good that we
Make
got
sure
this
you
back.
get one that's pregnant, son.
Don't
You'll
ever
get
move
two
that
for the
mark.
price of
So back up.
Got it. Wrong. I'm just mowing them down with an RPG as they come through the front doors. I mean RPD.
RPD, like Carpe Diem?
They are
Calling in
outside.
recon. Got conserve
Hey, shoot
tickets,
through the
do not
windows.
leave the building.
3 minutes.
We can hold the
Hold corner.
governor's mansion, the president's mansion.
Camp.
We can win this.
We got 4 minutes until napalm, 2 minutes till artillery, and 3 minutes till
Is in the
spooky.
air.
This game's over in 3:15.
I know.
I'm pooping myself.
I'm just gonna fucking pre-fire the shit out of this doorway, Iron.
Can I get a mark on the southeast side?
Excuse me, sorry.
This is doable, boys. This is very doable. We got this shit.
Is there any ammo in this fucking building, or no?
Downstairs. Nothing.
Squad Leader 3, move that mark to the left a little more and closer
Or
to us.
over here on the second floor. Oh,
Oh my
fuck.
god.
I'll
I
just go.
literally just got direct hit by a fucking RPG. Saved 2 lives. It did
Minute
not.
15 till artillery, guys.
Yeah, I saw that. It's
Play very conservatively. Play
Oh
defensively.
my god, I just fucking
Squad Leader.
TK'd up you right when I spawned. I'm
there are
so sorry.
grenades out that window. There's like dudes laying on the wall. On this.
50 seconds till artillery.
Oh, there's ammo
They're
here.
in the upper floor. They're in the upper floor. Up
Clear them out. Clear them out.
Echo. They're up.
They're shotguns.
They're upstairs.
So I got ammo now. I can start fucking blasting their dicks off like usual.
40 seconds till that artillery's ready.
Oh fuck, we got 70 seconds.
Minute.
We got a minute 50. This is doable, boys.
Give them the long
Honestly,
dick.
we just need to fucking throw bodies.
I really don't like you calling us boys though. You know, what if some of us are like not boys?
This is a boys and girls club. Well, I guess
Sorry,
I'm not
shit.
wanted here because I am an Apache helicopter, so... That was a good joke 10 years ago.
Radio back up a little bit. Radio back up.
We have lost Echo.
Are you fucking kidding me?
It's fine. We just gotta stall.
1 minute.
Oh, we're on F. Okay, I was gonna say.
Coming artillery on Squad
That goes
Leader
to
5
second,
mark.
first floor, I guess.
Oh. Upstairs. Stay upstairs. Clear up the top floor. Clear out F. We gotta do is hold it for another minute, guys.
Got shot right in the dick. Well, I mean, your dick's on your back, right?
Party sport inbound. Take cover.
I like that there's this guy just shooting off the edge. Coyote's fucking baller, dude.
Oh yeah, my artillery mark, baby. Fucking frag.
Can't deploy on spawn.
Guard, yeah, guard the stairs.
I like how the air squads don't change their marks based on like where the enemy is advancing. They just leave it.
Nah, we're still fine. I think we're gonna win.
Yeah, my already marked.
25 seconds.
Break
20
them
seconds.
because I was sort of pushing.
Go. We got
As
this
long as we
shit.
keep
We
them all
got this
F
shit.
so they don't get into overtime.
All right.
Spawning fucking
Keep up on
outside.
Echo.
Yeah,
This is our right.
Keep throwing frags down those stairs. Oh shit! Oh, we're capturing Echo. Okay, I can get behind
Fuck
this.
you. This is our right.
You're the man. It's all right.
You're the man now, dog.
Easy clap, gentlemen. Easy clap.
Fuck yeah.
I TK'd so many people the last 2 seconds.
Well fought.
That was all thanks
Shut
to
the
sport marks.
Brother. Yeah, brother.
I mean, he called your shit, what, 3 times?
Yeah,
But
3 or 4
I got
times.
36 kills, so y'all can suck my cock.
I think I got 7. 6, there you go.
I got a fucking achievement too.
Oh my god.
Alright, well, I am a little too drunk for a shooting game.
Nah, dude, doesn't matter.
What?
It's the best time to play a shooting game.
Kill an
dude.
enemy with an unexploded M79 shell. Got the achievement. Yes.
Just won the battle of Tet, dude.
Yeah, dude, we just beat them in the Tet offensive.
I think we should defend.
Still throw rage quit.
Yeah, don't leave us, Quahos. We need you.
Defend for one more than attack.
Yeah, let's
No.
defend. Defend
No.
for once. Burn out some We'll burn down some tickets if we defend. We'll be good.
No, fuck that shit. Fuck them pussy shit. We gotta fucking win, dude. If we don't fucking win it, we're gonna fucking go to dinner town. Winner, winner, chicken dinner town. You know what I mean?
Let them waste their combat power.
Do you know what I mean, Jelly Bean?
Team is unbound.
Hey, that was good commander and Big Boss.
Big Bossu.
You're all
Don't.
cut up.
Don't make me go over there. Don't turn me into a commie.
You're all cut up, buddy.
Oh no.
You've
I'm still
all
here. I'm
been
still here.
cut
I'm
up.
still here. I'm still here. Oh hell yeah. Whew. I was worried there for a second.
Alright, well, this is my
Typical
last
commie
one.
fashion, just fucking take it.
I'm just...
Getting drunk there, buddy?
They can
Yeah.
take our players, but they can't take our mojo.
Are you feeling it now,
I'm gonna try to
Mr.
attack
Graham?
What the heck was in that whiskey?
No, dude, it was tequila.
Saying Takala.
I was doing tequila shots the entire time that we were playing a squad.
Why? Why would you
Hey, if
ever
you're
do
in
that
squad
to
one,
yourself?
that was good shit. You're Ramboing behind their lines.
That's some degenerate
Why?
shit
Because
right
his
there, dude.
MOS is 11 Bravo. That's
Whoever was my
Maybe he
radio
has a
man was the
broken
best
leg
radio
and
man I've ever seen.
braces
He fucking
himself.
unloaded 2 rifles, picked up the rifles from the people that he killed, and continued to defend me. On shit was wild. Like, he went through 4 different guns. That's how much ammo he went through.
This fucking guy in the game.
He couldn't hear any of the gunshots, any of the murder. All he heard was music. The music of death.
We're going for a 5-pointer? That's retarded.
Nah, we're defending. Alright, we gotta play Australians for maximum shit posting.
Dude, we're going fucking Australians. The House is drunk, so it makes sense.
This is gonna be our march to Georgia, boys.
If we're not playing
There's not
Australians...
enough
Hey,
Fosters
Commander,
in the
you gonna
fucking
commander
world.
up on the next one too?
Why are we picking Australians? They
Yep.
fucking suck cock.
Good.
Listen, dude.
Wait,
If I-
there's Australians
Yeah, dude.
Yes.
Yeah, mate. And there's also Green Army Men. It's a $20 DLC.
in Vietnam.
Yeah.
I know it's weird, thinking that Vietnam was just an army, wasn't just a U.S. war, right? I still want to play with the French Foreign Legion, dude. Let's be some Frenchies, yo. The Frenchies could have won, man. It's just they were too much cucks. They're trying.
Bosco, just because you want to play with Frenchmen doesn't mean that we have to actually play as Frenchmen.
Listen, Parlez-vous français, my mon amour.
My favorite part was when we were on a Euro tour and then Bosco started talking and this French guy's like, oh my god, an actual American. So realistic.
Yeah, that was pretty immersive for sure.
Bosco just wants to touch them inappropriately. That's all.
I mean, that sounds about.
He is Jeffrey Epstein.
All right, here we go. Oh wait, there's no white phosphorus on these guys. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna do. Oh wait, can't. All right, this is some bullshit. Apparently, you get a grenade launcher, or you get a grenade launcher with a sidearm. Oh my god,
But
my
we
sidearm's
don't
like
do it.
SMG. It's not too bad, not too shabby. I might just go for that. What squad are we on? PP gang? Jeffrey Epstein. Okay.
Alright, Radio, you stay back here with me.
I'm glad we're on the. I'm
Marks
glad I
as
get
soon
to
as you
join
guys get on the
Jeffrey
point.
Epstein. Dude, the sidearm's a fucking SMG. That's fucking broken, dude. So sure, maybe I don't get a white phosphorus grenade, but I got a
Alright,
fucking
boss,
SMG.
which is the priority? Bravo or
So-
Alpha?
And I'm a black man in an Australian army. Nice.
We'll see how it goes. But it's probably gonna be Alpha.
Yeah, let's go, man.
Bosco's an Avo.
Oh my god, don't say that. That's actually a racist term. It's a racist
Aborigine.
Yeah,
How is Aborigine a fucking racist term?
Because it's a slur, dude.
Alright, a minute 2020 support.
All fucking.
It's like calling
Native
it's like calling somebody from Pakistan.
When
a
we're
Paki.
on Alpha, I want people watching.
It's
I
a
want
slur,
people
dude.
watching
Sorry.
Bravo's direction from Alpha to watch our
Yeah.
flank.
Aborigines the tribe.
But it's a slur, dude. I'm sorry. I don't make the rules. White man.
Boss, you're black. What are you talking
I'm just telling you the rules, dude.
Minute 20 support, guys. Get ready, because we're gonna start hitting A hard.
Okay, those are good guys, apparently.
Good job, boss. Yeah. TK and our people are in.
Alright. I
Radio it back.
Minute and a half into the game.
The funny thing is, like, I know Australians don't have that many people, but I think I might have wiped out a town.
So I can't call Apaches Apaches anymore.
Okay, I don't know if you don't understand that what I'm saying,
35 seconds.
but you're making up these rules that aren't what I'm saying.
Watch Bravos. Watch.
It's not very hard. Just don't call an aboriginal an
Alright,
abo.
I got a mark from Squad Leader 4. I need another mark, preferably in the C5, along the tree.
Who says it? Yeah, Iron did.
I say it because I like making Bosco. So.
Right behind that bunker.
I'm just telling you, those are the rules, man. That's racist, dude. Just like calling a Pakistani Paki, or a black person Donald Trump supporter.
They've got a sniper somewhere in C5. Shoot people as they spawn.
I mean, calling him a grocery store owner or something like that. That's my favorite one so far. She didn't say the N word. She said grocery store.
Aborigine and Aborigine was racist. That's why
No.
I was
Try to stay on our side of the bridge
I
if
was
at all
like,
possible.
what?
Iron,
That's
are
like
you able
calling,
to kick people?
That's like calling an Apache and an Apache.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying, man. You weren't picking up what I was putting down.
Can you do that for me?
That's okay, man.
Calling a bombing run on Squad Leader 6's mark.
Yeah, go find your fucking abo friend and go ask him. Good idea.
I mean, I've also never.
Hey there. What's up, Psycho Ghost Tracker?
Bosco's an Avo. That's why he got so salty.
Stop saying.
He's what?
Stop saying
He's
it.
actually.
It's a racial slur, dude.
Try to stay on the point.
And
You're all huddled
I'm
in one
feeling
spot.
offended
Try to
for
spread out
them
a little
because
bit.
I'm
You're all, like,
also.
sitting in that
Oh,
bunker.
my name's Bosco. I'm a fucking Avo.
They wouldn't have Australian accents, dude.
They live in Australia, so why wouldn't they?
Imagine.
You racist.
Because the Australian accent's
Oi, mate.
English accent.
Oi, mate.
I was just
Fucking
being an
anime.
Australian shitposter and just talking.
Yeah. That's not how it works.
Oi, my name's Bosco.
Yeah, that's
Fucking
enemy already
virtue
coming in.
signal.
Oi, mate.
Hey, they're coming up on the left side of the river, big.
I'm doing the exact same thing. I like to make people
Calling in
fun of for
counter.
doing.
Calling in napalm.
Bosco, if you would have just picked not to be the Australians, you would have avoided
Try
all
Papa
this.
Bear.
What am I avoiding, dude?
It's all your fault.
What is my fault?
Push as soon as our artillery's done, so hopefully that napalm.
Then you getting salty about me calling you fucking Avo,
I'm not getting salty. I'm just telling you it's a racial slur. That's neither me caring nor being like invested in this or not. It's just a fact.
I don't know, mate. You sound pretty salty.
Okay.
I fucking native, mate.
Got me hard watching.
Let's go, boys. Get on that point. Get on that point.
Run on fire.
You heard the big boss. Get on the point.
Big Oob also.
Hey, bro. Hurry up.
Alright, we got artillery left. We got 3 minutes till another bombing run. 5 minutes 50 till napalm.
Hey, people. It's me, critical.
We're gonna play in recon.
That's me.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, someone get that sniper. He's in C4, I think.
Oh, fucking grenade, bro.
One of our snipers, preferably.
Oh my god, dude. He. Oh my god. His family's middle class, so probably not.
I'm sure there's some rich aborigines.
That's not what I'm saying.
Avos can't be rich.
No, that's what you're saying. And middle class is not rich, you oddest. What I'm saying is, disproportionately, minorities are
Squad leader
usually
5, I'm gonna
poor.
hit you, Mark, with artillery. Actually, no, squad leader
Damn,
4.
dude, Bosco's racist, ain't fucking Aborigines.
Hell yeah, hit me,
can't
brother.
do
Oh,
that.
fuck off.
That's-
Streaming this to you, Bosco? Come on, dude.
I'm not even
Your
saying
shit
this
bag.
though. That's the thing. I haven't said it a
White
single thing.
supremacist.
Yeah, I'm a white supremacist.
All comes
as you
out
know,
now.
it's the new.
they just wasted
As you
it.
know,
I don't know
American
why
white
they did
supremacists
that.
are all about fucking
Wait.
up the Aboriginals in Australia.
Not
The most
American,
the current
white
event in
supremacist.
white
You're
America
an
and most
Aboriginal
current
white
threat to the white
supremacist.
man in America is Aboriginals in white America. Are you fucking stupid?
I don't even know what's happening.
Bosco's just being retarded.
I might as well be worried about the Neanderthals in Spain.
Hey, man.
Hey, you leave them out of this, alright? They died a long time ago. Let them rest in peace, Bosco. That's
Listen,
innocent.
they did. First of all, they didn't die. They're bred within the Europeans and the Asians and
what?
shit like that.
European.
Yeah, European.
Hey, throw grenades under the bridge if you can.
It all makes sense now. Bosco's actually an abo.
He's apparently half Aborigine, half Neanderthal.
What's the difference, dude?
Both of those are sensitive subjects for him.
Oh, wow, now you're just clumping minorities. Fucking asshole.
I know, that's what Bosco is. It's just a giant clump of minorities.
That's me, dude. Giant clump of minorities.
An Aborigine Neanderthal. God, that would just look so ugly, dude.
Were you saying black people look ugly?
Yeah, what are you saying?
Yeah,
I'm just saying, abos aren't very known for their attractive features.
Just because there's no fucking People's Magazine in Aboriginal territory doesn't mean you don't deserve one. Maybe what's the sexiest, the top 10 sexiest Aboriginals of all time? You don't know, man. Where's the People's Magazine, right? Sexiest Aboriginal of the year.
You know, it's so easy
Calling
to
in
be
recon.
Bosco like get jerked.
He's advancing the other direction. Well, maybe our sniper should counter sniper.
I feel like Bosco
I'm
doesn't
working
actually
on
care. He's just getting all defensive because he's strict.
Fucking jungle to get this fuck.
What am I being defensive about? I'm just telling you it's a racial slur.
I don't think it's authentic. Hear my mic?
I'm just telling you it's a racial slur. I'm not telling you whether to care or not. That's on you.
No, dude, you sound pretty salty right
Do I only have two? Wait, I only have two like fucking shells.
Yeah.
Oh, that's bullshit. Apparently,
Can I get a squad in the
apparently,
houses
with
between
the
C
thumper,
and D
you
to
only
watch
get
the
two
flank?
shots. I didn't realize you only get two shots. That's
Guys, we should probably just lock down Charlie.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Lockdown
Well,
Charlie, but
I'm here to
I need some
provide
people in
entertainment,
between
obviously. I'm
Charlie and
providing
Delta, like
something
one squad to
You've
just
provided
watch the
nothing.
flank. Can I get a...
I don't know, dude. I got quite a few labs
Yeah, by who?
at your expense.
Yeah, but that's how it always. That's how my humor works, anyways.
It with bombing runs.
Everything I do is at my expense.
My work here is done.
Oh my god, the fucking thing just bounced off his fucking head.
We've lost Delta.
Kiosk is just sitting there, dropped, slashed over on the keyboard. What's going on?
You know that guy in the South Park World of Warcraft episode with the fat guy? That's Kiosk right now.
Work tomorrow from all the drool.
That's fucking Kiosk right now, the fat
I'm not
fucking
jerking
guy.
off.
No one even said that. No one said jerking off, so I don't know why you're saying you're not jerking
Snap
off.
asleep so you can't hear.
That's what like half the episode was about.
No,
Right?
no, he wasn't
Or is that
jerking
the
off.
other episode.
I don't know what you're talking about. That episode had nothing to do with jerking off.
Sent me already coming in.
I do with fucking World of Warcraft, dude.
Oh, that was a completely different episode where Randy found internet porn.
I need more marks
Yeah,
from Charlie.
My
right.
bad.
I'm glad the first thing you think about is
Thanks
jerking
for
off.
napalm.
Fucking A, man. Buddies. Iron Cross. Joshua Miller.
My name's Bosco. I'm a fucking Aborigine.
My name's Iron Cross. I work for the British SAS. I've shot 75 people at 200 meters.
I work for the SAS in
Why are
Australia.
you giving him a Russian accent?
Oi, mate, it's me, Iron Cross.
Got a lot of people fighting over D. I need you guys.
Stop
Need
the
you
lie.
guys on Charlie.
I'm Iron Cross Putin is
Oh, we did.
Where's Pesky?
You died, dude.
I work for Moscow.
Pesky just has nothing to add.
I am pesky boner bee.
I would rather eat the sandwich. Talk shit with your retard.
Squads 5 and 2. I need you guys
2
on
a.m.
Charlie.
It's
smoking
2
some
a.m. in the morning.
He's smoking some avo cock, you know.
You know what I'm saying. Apparently get like 6 shots. Why don't I have 6 shots? Is it lying to me?
taking Delta. Don't approach over
Do I have to switch shots or something? These Jeffrey Epstein
Still needs marks in front of Charlie.
Iron, you fucking dumbass.
Y'all need to keep.
I love how 2 people joined our squad. One of them's burnt.
Guys, there's so many
churro,
people going towards D. Guys, we need you on Charlie.
We're the big boss on Charlie.
Don't fucking roll your R's. Just get you lived in El Paso for a couple years.
Wait, it says I have like
roll your R's.
6 shells.
Oh, we're taking it. Oh, we can take this back. We can take this back.
Sound like Iron, the whitest man ever served at Fort Bliss.
Nah, dude, there's definitely whiter dudes than. Oh boy.
Everybody,
wait, do you like actually speak Spanish to us?
Sí, yo hablo español, güey.
We gotta stay on the point.
Hey, can you do me a favor? Hey, Toast, can you do me a favor?
It was like, what?
Can you do me
Actually, but I do know some white people that speak.
Can you do me a
better.
favor?
Are they Mormon?
Can you do me a favor?
They just happen to work with a lot of people who speak.
Play better.
This is not.
Why don't you take that dick out of your ass and try to defend
first language.
Dan, if you
Oh.
shot as good as you run your negative ass mouth, we probably would have held everything.
like I do. So don't even.
Great, Squad
I
Leader
can't hear
6.
anything. The game's so
Squad Leader
fucking
6, that's a
loud.
good mark.
It's kind of like going to live in like if you go live in Germany,
Fucking
eventually you'll
feisty
start to
faggot
pick up
over
on the
here.
language.
That's not
Spread out on Echo,
No one
guys. Don't
lives in
stay in one
Germany.
spot. Get in every building on Echoes.
Nah, I just
Spread
yelled
out.
at them for not speaking English.
Recon is in the air.
I wish our
this flag here,
Alright,
mark
boss,
it,
I'm
mark
at
it.
one. Which side do you want me to watch?
You're in the U.S. Army, then
Squad Leader 2,
goddamn, you're gonna
mark.
speak
I want you to.
U.S.
Did I ever tell
want
you
you to the north
about
side.
this Mexican NCO got all pissed off because me and my
Squad Leader
friends
3,
would
you gotta get out of there. There's napalm
like,
coming in.
200 dude, and you just get mad as fuck.
Fucking send it.
Sprechen Sie Deutsch?
I
I
like
was
it.
like, now you know how I feel when you speak Spanish, dude.
fucking A, man.
That's funny. What do you say to that?
You just shut up.
Yeah, that's a fucking idiot.
Must be nice.
30 minutes, or not 30 minutes, 30 seconds
Must
till
be nice
bombing
to
run,
shut
minute
up.
till artillery.
Why doesn't this?
Fifth.
Wait, I got smoke
They
grenades?
spread out on
But they don't
Echo.
let me use them.
I mean, I personally don't care if they speak Spanish. It's just like, we just did it to fuck with people.
That guy's coming in right side of
I
me.
don't think this thing's working. Oh my god.
I hated going
It's
to El
all over
Paso
the
though,
yard
and like,
for the
You're
bombing
the
run.
big fucking man. We're watching the north
some
side.
people outside of town would
That main road.
We need
refuse to
someone
speak
watching the south
I got him.
side.
I got a headshot.
Oh
on
yeah,
that
but they knew English. Yeah, I hated that too. And I speak both languages, and I would tell them to speak English. But as soon as I started speaking Spanish, they would speak English to me, and I was like, really? Like, that would annoy me too.
Oh my god. Oh yeah, I forgot. Only 2 fucking shots, cause
Canberra bomber inbound.
this fucking kit's retarded. I'm bleeding out. I have
mean,
no
my conjugation is shit, but
fucking bleeding.
okay. Everyone's
Yeah, they're trying to build a tunnel
flank.
really close. Over.
sorry, they probably don't speak perfect
Second floor
Spanish
across the
either.
road.
I mean, most people don't, and then
We have
there's
artillery
Wait, did I
ready.
just kill people?
like words are different in
Gonna
a lot
save
of
it
different
for a little.
Hispanic countries. So like,
Oh,
plátano
wow, I
is
just see
banana
Cape
in
Going in,
Puerto
going.
Rico, but in Puerto Rico it's kale.
You wanna see
Because
racist?
Plátano is
I
plantain
said we already coming in.
in Puerto Rico.
I'm gonna counter
You wanna see
already.
racist? Call
No.
Puerto Rican Mexican.
My god, stop. Why are you guys doing this to me? Just go away.
Or any Hispanic that is.
Counter already coming in.
Just call me.
Eyes on compass.
the
Recon
country
up.
they're not from.
Are you from Mexico?
Oh my god. You guys are giving
We got a
freaking-
squad on the south side, east side, I think.
Oh god, Freddie Mercury.
Freddie Mercury.
I'm adamant that he
was
didn't.
in that boat, did you know?
First of all, Freddie Mercury didn't die from AIDS, from sexual AIDS. He died from drug AIDS. That's different. So he's still straight in my eyes.
So I just won this game of Madden 49 to 13.
Did you like that one?
Alright, lads, we're running.
Not like there's anything
Okay,
wrong
we're
with being
running
gay.
northwest.
Just
There's
saying,
some tunnels
if we were
over
all gay, then
You
we're
get on the
we're
boat,
tomorrow.
Clear it out. Clear the buildings on the south side.
Be like the Greeks and the Romans.
We'd be too busy fucking each other.
being really good at warfare and fucking kids.
Do you think Jeffrey Epstein would have got killed if he was in like?
But we need to clear up that north side.
No, you'd be plotted, dude.
They're definitely still over there.
Are you joking? That's like legit. Like, this is how we know we moved on as a society and we're
They're on the-
better
in the-
than our priors. Because in Roman era, there'd be nothing wrong with it, unless they're like rich people's kids or something, or people with, like,
I see it.
for the most part, no one give a shit. Why would anybody care about somebody fucking girls?
We got 3 minutes,
in
20
Roman era?
seconds till napalm. 2 minutes, 20 seconds.
Literally, they had
till,
slavery back then. I think there's
carpet
bigger
bomb.
issues than fucking girls.
I don't know, man. Up until the 20s, it was like socially acceptable in parts of our country to
Oh,
like
we definitely got this.
marry like 9-year-old girls.
We just
Yeah.
gotta play it smart.
That's what I'm saying,
We need
but-
people
but
falling
that's-
back to the point. They're starting to kill some
Not even
people
that,
on
and
point.
also there's like you couldn't rape somebody that you were married
Numbers
to
are
as
a little
well.
thin on the
Like if
point.
you were married to somebody, you couldn't rape.
Alright.
It's not rape. You just
I see
you marry them for sex.
No.
Unless you're married, dude. That's what it meant. Like that shit was only like repealed like in I think the 80s.
Go, back in.
Calling in recon.
Hold up, I just killed a tunnel and killed 7 of their guys.
Oh fucking A.
By myself.
Everyone keeps walking in front of me and I'm fucking about to shoot something.
Pay attention to the compass. Recon's going up.
Ah shit, I team killed somebody.
Right, everyone. They just. Fuck! They just ambush deployed. Right on front of the point.
I'm going to defect to the Taliban now.
I always thought joining the ISIS like would be really cool, but then I realized
I mean,
they're bad
honestly,
guys.
if I friendly fired somebody and they're gonna
Bosco's definitely
fucking charge. I'm right behind you.
CIA or NSA is assassinating him.
Come on.
Yeah, assassination. I'm gonna commit suicide, a gunshot wound in my thigh.
Predator drone just fucking like sheer
Clear them
explosion.
out.
Yeah, that's it. Bosco Bergdahl.
Bravo 26.
Bosco 26 going dark.
45 seconds till carpet bomb. Can I get mark on the road in front of the point?
Watch for a push from the west, guys.
Oh my god, Bosco TK'd me because he's salty. I call him a nab.
No, I just want to prove that I'm not salty by doing it like 20 minutes later.
I don't know, man. That means you just carried it with you this whole time.
No, it just means I wanted to TK him the entire game, but I couldn't.
He saw me and he just couldn't control his rage.
No, I wanted to do it. I always like TKing Iron, but I couldn't do it because I knew you guys would fucking say that.
It's like those kids in school, man.
It's too late. We already said it.
That's why you always talk.
Can I get a mark in G5?
Is that pumped up kicks I hear over Bosco's mic?
That's a good point. Is there a Sludge Lord version of that song? Let's listen to it.
Carpet bomb coming in on squad leader 2's
Nah,
mark.
there isn't. I'm sure you can find like a slowed down vaporwave version of it.
Thank you.
Dude, that sounds just like the thought of a fucking vaporwave version of pumped up kicks is just so obscene.
There is one.
I found it.
Camera bomber inbound.
I'm gonna put there's one.
This is fucking awful.
Make your mic quality worse.
Yeah, put the gain all the way up.
No, dude, it's vaporwave.
But it's literally like fucking fucked up though, yeah.
Shot it down.
It's vaporwave. It's supposed to be fucked up.
Recon is in the air.
Buster's gonna start playing that in proximity now.
They're pushing hard, guys.
Last stand. Don't surrender.
Fuck. What was the name of that song that he was playing the other day? That I made a video of.
Heaven has place on it.
Yeah, he was playing Toast. I don't know if you saw the video.
How long does
We were playing this game, and he was playing Heaven as a Place on Earth, but like a slowed down synthwave version over his proxy mic. The entire
coming in,
game.
danger close.
Cause it's like 20 minutes long song.
Napalm coming in, danger close.
Slowed down to 8 BPM.
Broken arrow.
No, Toast of course hasn't seen it because he made a video channel only that I can see and no one else can see, so he doesn't look at it.
They got a dish.
Nah, that does not sound like your MO. I'm sorry.
Pour into the
That
point.
broken asshole right now.
Watch for
I mean, he should make like a Bosco roll.
We're taking it back. We're taking it back. Stay
Containment
towards the back of the
I
point.
can see the video, so I know you're bullshitting right now.
Well, I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying, man. The way I've been treated and the way I feel like that is toast
It
MO.
worked, boys.
Oh!
Watch out
That's
for
what
it. Watch out
Sorry,
for
one
it.
second. People being real loud.
Holy shit, good Napalm.
What'd you say?
Second of all.
We still got carpet bomb.
What was
on
the first
standby.
of all? I'm only here in a second.
I said, first of all, you don't have feelings. And
Okay.
if you did,
Clear that shit out.
Let's buy them.
second of all.
Watch that ticket.
You don't know me. You don't know my story.
Board on him, Bob.
What's the second of all? Is he doing something? Did I get just banned from the Discord?
Exactly. That's exactly. That's it.
Squad leader 7's mark with carpet bomb.
That's what the
Pressure
second of all is.
signal too much.
Get out of here.
That was the second.
Got a minute 40 till artillery. It's gonna be our backup.
I'm
for the
just
next
saying,
push.
man. I was trying to contain my videos somewhere.
Canberra bomber inbound. Take cover.
Thanks, man. And now everything works out.
Oh,
But I just want to
man.
declare, I was only following how it was being done there before me, because the first post on the meme channel is literally a video.
Try to clear him out.
I know it is.
I've just been following the rules as I saw fit.
Three-pointers in the air.
Anyways, do you want to copy this game or what?
To delete it. What game?
Rising Storm.
Don't I have that?
We got
Oh, you do?
played the
looks like
demo.
5 enemies on the
Like,
point. We got 2
play it.
flanking around the
Oh,
north side.
there was a free weekend probably a while back.
South side.
Yeah, isn't there always a fucking free weekend? Like,
Almost all the time, yeah. For the most part, yeah. Nice, got somebody.
40 seconds till artillery.
Rising Storm / Red Orchestra 2.
Yeah, you keep that
Yeah,
point
yeah.
there, 6. Squad leader 6.
No, it's just called Rising Storm Vietnam.
Oh, it's not called the Red Bird? Whatever.
No, that's the first one.
The
Oh,
first
you're right, you're right.
30 seconds.
Standalone.
What's it called?
Just Rising Storm 2
You
Vietnam.
smoke
Rising
grenades, throw them,
Storm
toss
2
them on that
Vietnam.
point.
So when I convinced you and Danny to download on a free weekend and you
Try to
said
go
it
in
was-
from the north
or
side.
Danny
Try to
said
go
it
in
was
from the
super
north side.
racist but really fun.
Yeah, I do remember that.
It's really not that race.
I mean,
it's just
it's
one's
not
free weekend.
racist,
Push
just
in that
the
north
community.
side.
The best kind of BC is a dead BC.
That's not racist to say that. Now saying a
It's going
gook,
towards the Viet Cong.
the best
not
gook is a
Vietnam.
toasted gook. That's pretty racist because gook is slur. Now I can
I'm pretty
invite.
sure we exclusively played on the Gook Nukem server the entire weekend.
That's
Artillery coming in.
hilarious.
Oh, dude.
It's a good hold.
Oh yeah, and I couldn't stop saying gook for a while
Negative
too.
Nancy on our team.
Because it's a stupid decision. They had a
That'd make a good
5-pointer with Ho
movie.
Chi Minh, so they lose no combat
Shut
power.
the
In fact,
fuck
they
up,
probably,
dude.
Oh my
they
God, shut
probably
up, nerd.
gain
You
combat
guys make
power
this
on
game
Don't let me
nuts.
swap.
Nah, dude, you're trash.
Pesky, were you too busy eating a fucking sandwich
try
that
more,
entire
dude.
time? You
Try
shit.
more, dude.
Dude.
2 fucking kills.
Are we still
Oh,
I
playing?
enjoyed the shit out of my sandwich.
Are we still playing, or what are we doing? Are we dropping this, or?
I'm getting off on singing voice chat.
Then let's just all get off and just talk about our nipples.
I'm just gonna
Never
keep talking
defend
about
on
abos
mid-war.
because
You didn't.
Bosco just rants
He
about it.
didn't have more kills than
I
me.
just don't want to get banned off YouTube, Mixer, and DLive all at once, for fuck's sake. Like, how hard is that?
Why did
That was
Joseph Mengelev type in chat, shut up, queer mo?
Joseph Mengele. He's back from the dead.
Wow.
The angel of death has come back to kill once more.
Toast, if you want to see something funny, go to the Grizzly server and check out the latest post from Bree. Well, not the latest, but the one
Is
that
he even in
yesterday.
there?
You must be. You must be. I had a little bit of fun today. You might enjoy this since it's not at
This
your
song
expense.
is for you, Bosco.
Oh man, I have a song. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
What song is this gonna be? I guess we're not playing anymore. Everyone left.
Is it I'm turning Japanese?
No.
Well,
That would be a good one too, though.
That sounds like an Iron Cross thing to do, to be honest.
Yeah, dude.
Iron's
Yeah,
a
that's
fucking
definitely
Jap.
an Iron song. Actually, you're right.
So that was a thing. People don't really care for fucking Rising Storm, dude. I only got like one person pop in.
Wow, this song does make me think of Bosco.
What song is this? Where is it? Music
It's in the
requests?
rhythm bot.
I don't know what that means. Ram Ranch? Oh, is there a bot playing right now? I might have muted it. One second, let me turn it up. Oh, this is my song for sure.
Hey, Kiosk, look in sick call.
Oh my god.
God damn.
Dang, dude. It's a great song, dude.
I posted in sick call because that's the containment board.
Oh man, I don't believe in containment board. That's undemocratic.
That entire fucking server with those fucking weird ass dude you guys have is a fucking containment board.
Oh, KKK.
Yes, that one.
Dude, that's a great Discord. There's some quality. There's some quality memes on there.
It used to be the all.
Dude, you literally have a dedicated fart fetishes. In your fucking server.
Yeah, Boulder.
That man needs Jesus in his life.
It's all my fault though. The KKK wouldn't exist if we just never left the fucking all left server.
Nah, you were the fucking admin, Bosco, and you just troll and change the big code on fucking channels to be shit.
Dude, the fact, just like listening to Bosco say the KKK wouldn't have existed if I was an admin.
No, that's not what I said. It's if I stopped utilizing my old server, the KKK wouldn't exist. I used to have the shitpost server.
I mean, personally, I think Iron Approved Big Posting is like the best one, because it's like just memes, and then everything else is kind of just
I have the
shitty.
best voice channel. It's called Bosco's Crying Channel.
Especially when Tyler posts his like
And
fucking
Elliot Roger
retarded
Memorial is there
whole
too.
length.
And the Poop Palace is there, and Sludge Lord Central. Best place.
Tyler really likes posting his poll threads, and
I miss my server. I should probably delete it one day. No one uses it anymore.
did you guys see my biology book? It had Raising Arizona pasted onto the front of it.
Pesky,
I'll post it in sick call.
Pesky, I went to post or like request the same song you did.
Naturally.
It was already there, so.
Ram Ranch?
Alright, well,
I hope.
Cab Scout.
I'm changing the stream to other.
I knew it was gonna be Ram Ranch.
18 naked cowboys in the showers at Ram Ranch. Big herd throbbing
I
cocks
remember when
wanting
we
to
were
be
playing the squad and I named the squad Ram.
18 naked cowboys
Just
wanted
played
to
that
be
song
fucked.
through my head.
Cowboys in the
remember when we,
showers
like,
at
introduced
Ram
Danny
Ranch
to
on
this
their
song.
knees wanting to suck cowboy cocks. Ram Ranch really rocks.
Was he like ultra Christian sheltered boy?
No, he's just been obsessed with Ram Ranch since.
Because now he'll play it for everyone.
18 more wild cowboys out in the yard. Big bulging
What, Pesky? You don't like Voltron's like fart shit post?
Yeah, dude, what do you know?
Dude, I don't know. I've never met the dude. Maybe he's an alright guy, but
He's really messed
He
up.
just
impression
does
of
that.
him is negative.
He just does that to troll the females on the
The
Discord. honestly.
females. There's only one female in that Discord.
No, there's like
There's
3 or 4.
No, there's only one female that ever.
There's Tyler.
herd throbbing cocks.
That comes on regularly, yeah.
Real deep.
Yeah.
Cowboys even
You
get
guys wanna watch?
fucked in
You
their
guys wanna
sleep.
suggest meme
Ram
videos to watch on my
Ranch,
YouTube
it
with no
rocks.
giggle?
Cowboys
Some
love
Abo
big herd
video.
throbbing cocks.
Any of the Townsend videos are pretty good.
What? Window capture.
18 naked cowboys in the showers at Ram Ranch. Big herd throbbing cocks wanting to be sucked. 18 naked cowboys
Hey,
wanting
Kios,
to
I got a
be
video
fucked.
for you, dude.
Oh boy.
Cowboys in the showers at Ram Ranch on their knees wanting to
Oh,
suck
that's only letting me
cowboy
do that longer.
cocks.
Okay, that's fine.
Ram
Let's do this
Ranch
over.
really rocks.
Then zoop. And then zoop. Then zoop. And
Hot
zop.
hard buff cowboys, their cocks throbbing hard. 18 more wild cowboys out in the yard. Big
Yard.
bulging cocks ever so hard. Orgy in the showers at Ram Ranch. Big hard throbbing cocks ram and cowboy butt like a breeding
Ram
ram
and
wanting to
cowboy
rut.
butt. Are you still listening to this? I'm just gonna mute it real quick. Adorable
It's
baby
racist,
sloth.
let's go.
What? Muting something about cocks. Sounds more like it's sexist if you ask me.
Is Ram Ranch just gonna be playing for the next like 30 minutes?
It looks like it, dude.
6 minutes and 50 seconds.
Bosco hates the white race. He's trying to exterminate our fucking history. That's why he doesn't like Ram Ranch.
Yeah, that's me, dude. That's me, dude. You guys want to go to a fucking Flat Earth Discord with me and listen to some guy fucking rant about Flat Earth for like an hour?
No, dude.
I'll go to it and you can watch it on my stream.
If I was a UFC fighter, this would be my introduction song right here.
Oh, I mean, it's unmute the fucking shit. Is it fucking...
Just to be a total walking meme and troll at the same time.
You're fucking douche, dude, if that was true.
Maybe like, sir, you can't play this, too much profanity. Fuck you, it's the UFC. I'm about to get in the cage and get beat up and beat someone up. I'm about to bleed for you. I can play whatever fucking song I want.
Pesky, why are you even in the KKK Discord?
I legitimately don't.
On the inside, just taking the shit over.
Well, unlike a movie, there are no good guys on the inside that's gonna cause, and we're not gonna bring down the bad guys.
How did the bad guys
happily ever after?
How did the bad guys get in so much control? Like,
While
how did
you
we
were
fuck up
sleeping.
so bad?
No.
I wasn't
we were-
alive. Okay,
While
all of us.
Dude, that fucking Discord's the best. I found them the greatest flat earther. They always just talk about conspiracy theories 24/7. You pop in there's some fucking guy ranting about the fucking government being the bad guys, and it's the reason why we're fucked is because everyone was sleeping. And now that we're awake, we can't fight back or something like crazy like that.
Well, it's true.
It's fucking insane, dude.
Meth is a hell of a drug.
Dude, they've never done drugs, okay?
Yo, Kiosk, what do you need that gravel for anyway?
Making a pathway. Wait, did I ever explain to you what I'm doing? I'm making a genuine southern plantation in Minecraft.
Yeah, but you have to have gravel for the pathways?
Yeah, dude, it's authentic.
God.
What do you do, cobblestone?
What are you making you're playing Minecraft right now? What the fuck, dude? What is wrong with you?
Fucking, some friends of mine have a fucking, PvP server running.
Oh, do you? Is his name Decays?
No, they're not people they're not people I'm introducing. I would introduce Toast. Toast is capable of being a normal person, but fucking Iron and fucking Bosco instantly make all these people hate me.
I'd be normal if you wanted me.
That just shows you who friends are,
I just need to know who I'm dealing with first.
That just shows
if
you
they
who
can
friends
handle
are.
I think it's because my normal MO is normal.
Yeah.
Is what Pesky say.
Pesky, this is how I vent, so I can act normal in real life.
This is how he gets his AIDS out.
Exactly.
This is how I have fun, dude. I'm allowed to have fun around people.
I could only do that in the arm, like Goltern says.
Ooh, you can get nitro for a year for $100. What does that give me then?
Problem. If you let go for half a second, you drop a hard R, and it's it's a very awkward situation for me.
I've never dropped a racist term. I'm not an Aboriginal, so I could never do that.
Let me put it this way: I'm one of the more conservative people in that Discord. I'm pretty fucking liberal, so these people are borderline actual socialist levels.
SJW?
Yeah,
Nice, dude.
That sounds very. I'm confused. Wait. Are you trying to say they're actually?
I mean,
wait, no. I need to
Pots
ask
and them
this question.
still like me, so I mean, if that's any.
I'm confused because you make it seem like since you're considered conservative, but they won't like other ideas because they're socialists. Are you saying they're actually secretly really conservative in their beliefs and they don't like ideas?
I'm saying they don't they're not going to appreciate your racism.
You're saying
that's what I'm saying.
What racism did we ever speak? Huh?
You've been fucking shit talking Aboriginals for the past hour and a half.
Who has been? It wasn't me. That wasn't me. That was Iron. I was defending Aboriginals.
It was pretty fun. I honestly only did it because I liked hearing Bosco try
And you don't think, and the sad thing is, you don't think racists have rights either. That's pretty racist, dude. Not very liberal, are you now?
I mean, if you want to meet a real racist, I got a couple friends like that.
Yeah, like your dad.
I don't think we're having competition.
we're not trying to see who's the most racist friends here, boys.
Are we? But are we though?
I mean,
no, yeah, there's 100% chance that I'm the most conservative person in the Discord.
I don't know what that means. Like, that's why I don't like. I'm trying to say, like, I don't know what that means. Conservative means what? You're open to other people's opinions.
Classical American conservatism.
But what does that even mean, though? Like that sounds liberal to me.
That's exactly what that means, Bosco.
No, because classical conservatism, in the sense I understand, no, that's not what conservatism means to me. Conservatism to me, for classical American conservatism, means that you have your own beliefs and you respect other people who have their own beliefs as well. That's what it means. So, which is a very liberal idea. Don't you think?
Yeah, but if someone else's beliefs are like you hate black people, like they're not okay with that.
Yeah. Wait, who's not okay with that?
The people were. I'm drunk and I can keep track of this.
Classical liberals, because that's what we're talking about right now, or classical conservatives.
No, we're talking about Pesky's friends right now, dude.
That's because they don't have an open mind. They don't want to ask why these guys are racist. They just want to say, "Boo, bad racist."
They don't care, dude.
They don't care. They don't care about racism. That's what you're trying to say. They don't want to fix it.
They don't care about you being a racist. They just they're not obligated to make you not racist.
Yes, they are. It's their civic duty. That's what I was told by a fucking collectivist. It's a civic duty.
It's a civic duty.
Mm-hmm. Then I tried to ask. Then I tried to explain, ask him what civic duties meant, and I asked him like, what's the difference? Well, he asked me what's the difference between we the people versus for the good of the nation.
I'm sorry, dude. I can't help it. It's in my blood to be racist.
And he was like, no, they're exactly the same thing. So like, they don't know, man. They don't know anything, man. You gotta teach them, man.
They don't know me. They don't know my story.
They don't know what the actual civic duty means. They think punching a Nazi is a civic duty.
I think you have like everyone at some point in their life has a choice to make on their own. Like eventually they come up to this epiphany. Everyone does it. Different times, different people, different paces. Some people are retarded. And they come up to this realization that they have to make a decision for themselves. And one of these, depending on what they choose, one of them is going to make their life so much easier. Like they're gonna go through life less angry, not really giving a shit about certain things because they just don't matter, or they're gonna make the choice to just be an angry piece of shit for the rest of their lives. And those are the ones that tend to get radicalized on the internet and do dumb shit.
Like Tyler, dude.
They have these two choices, and that choice is: can I come to the realization that you just can't control anything else besides yourself? Like you can't. It's not possible. It's not gonna happen. Or I want everything to be controlled. Everything. Except when I myself, and by I mean the person that comes to this realization, decides that it inconveniences them. Those are the two options that usually get picked. One of them, if they make the one decision, to me, waterboarding's too good for them, and I think they should fall in the ocean, though, and just drown, period. Fuck waterboarding. Just drown them. Because they think that they can control something that can't be controlled.
Well, that's why individual rights and freedoms are extremely important. It might not be efficient, and it might be difficult and hard to work forward progress, quote unquote, but overall, it's better to not trample on one person's rights to do the good for the greater good.
Well, I'm just looking at you can even look at it from business acumen point of view, right? It's controllable and uncontrollables in business. Like people talk about that all the time. Controllables and uncontrollables. You got to be aware of both, and you have to be able to identify both to be able to even do anything. And like,
well, I just mean in the sense that no matter what you're doing, depends how the world works. You might be in the in group today, but what if you're in the out group? Then you're the ones suffering. You don't want to live in a world where anybody's suffering, you know? Let them suffer by their own responsibilities, their own individual task, at will or whatever.
And that's what I mean by controllables. You can't control people. Like you can't.
You can't control outcomes.
Like, you look at dictators, and there's dictators who've sat there for, 10, 20, whatever years.
Look
But
at the Chinese.
eventually, they're hanging from a fucking streetlight or dragged behind a truck, or their bodies being pummeled into little bits, or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
All of it comes to an end, and usually an ugly one for them. Like, you just can't control people. It's not gonna happen. You can't. The only thing you can do, if you want fucking to fix that shit, is, like, take care of yourself.
Where'd that come
Control
from?
your life, yourself in your life. And that's
There you go. Yeah. That's the end of my shitpost pictures.
Where's that music coming from?
My shitpost pictures. I was looking at those while I was talking. That's why I'd pause.
Uga Shaga. Where's that Uga Shaga coming from? Do you guys hear that?
I was sending some pictures to Kiosk that might
Do you guys
be
hear the
too
Uga
lewd
Shagas?
for this disc.
Do you guys hear Uga Shaga going off?
Send them to me. Let me see. I'll tell you.
Oh, it was Rhythm Bot. It just wasn't muted. It was muted on my screen.
Hold on. I don't think it. What the fuck?
It's just odd. It's just odd when people say, "Well, I'm not part of it."
They wouldn't let me paste without starting a combo.
It's just weird because people like that think like this as well are not part of an in-group, and they are self-aware they're not part of an in-group, but they want to be in a situation where they are the in-group.
Economics.
I like how I was looking at the macroeconomics book with the fucking hentai.
Oh, God, that's hilarious. I don't think that picture's too bad for this Discord. That's not bad.
I mean, at least they blotted out the boobies.
Yeah.
I was saying it because
This
it's
is actually
basically
the worst thing
fucking
I've ever heard in
child
my
porn.
fucking life.
You don't like the Haas?
No, I don't
Or
actually.
the Hoff?
Yeah, I don't like the Hoff either.
Jesus.
I'm not a believer. Did I ever tell anybody I'm not a true believer?
Hey, Bosco, when you gonna get married to an abo? Dude?
Oh my god, can you just stop it for like a second? Like, dude, I'm streaming, man. I don't want to get banned from multiple platforms. Thanks, bud.
Yeah, one platform at a time.
Yeah, one platform at a time.
How many times have you been banned, Moscow? This
Never.
Just so far. No?
No, I'm really good. I'm a really good person, dude. I
actually
just fuck with you guys a lot. Why?
You're so hurt, dude.
You guys just don't. You guys really don't
That's the
think.
best reaction I've ever gotten out of Moscow. And
Why do you guys think I'm a bad person?
I'm gonna cherish this
There's
moment
no evidence I'm a bad
forever.
person. I just fuck with you, and I use myself as a joke. It's
I
fun.
can't hear a thing you're saying.
It's
Hold on.
alright, man. It's good, buddy.
Okay, now I can.
I don't know what to say. There's no
He has
reason.
to pause the Hoff.
There's no reason to believe I'm a bad dude. I just like to joke around, and I use myself as a joke because it's
Just because
fun.
you get banned from Twitch doesn't make you a bad dude.
I mean, unless you're saying the N-word nonchalantly and people are saying, no, you said grocery store, then I think you're a bad dude. Amarath.
Man, you're really upset about this shit.
No, I just think it's hilarious, actually. I'm not really upset. I just think it's funny.
Dude, I don't even care. She can.
Yeah, no, I don't care either. I just think it's funny. No, I think so too, but I think it's funny they said, no, she said grocery store. I'm like, yeah, grocery store has 2 syllables in it.
All I know is I want Brophy to talk about sucking Karl Marx's dick somewhere on Pod's Discord so I can
I haven't talked to Brophy in so long. You should invite me back to Pod's Discord and I can talk shit to Brophy again.
I think you get banned, dude, to be honest.
Why would I get banned?
They ban you from that Discord like monthly.
I have not been on Discord for like 6 months. At least. I have not been there. I left it because I was tired of the double standard.
That's the liberal way, bro.
Dude, it's not fair, man. Come to my server, the alt left. Everyone has admin there.
Yes, slave.
Alt left. Anarchy.
No, I was reading a post on a Wikipedia article about the alt right, because I get curious about like what it means, what people think it means, and whatnot. That doesn't really matter. I don't have an opinion, but they were talking about how on the bottom talking about the alt left as like a citation type thing, or like a earmark. I don't know, footnote thing is, and they're saying how alt left's not really a real thing. It's just like an imaginary boogeyman, and no one's claimed the title alt left. So guess what? I've claimed the title alt left.
I've created. The alt left's the anarchists, bro. But they don't want to claim it because they don't blah blah blah. But anytime I've ever heard like anarchists talk, first of all, when they have a group, they're organized, which is completely.
Well,
let's just start there.
Well, no, anarchy.
That's an issue.
No, it doesn't. It kind of is. Anarchy does not mean complete like destruction of organization. It just means like no, depending on what level you're at, it could mean like state level.
Most anarchists, it just means they want power and everyone else doesn't get anything.
That's usually how everything works.
That's
it's more like
exactly
I want.
How
It's more envious and jealousy. I don't like that I'm not number one.
With some Swedish anarchists,
Yeah.
like, and they were so Sweden is like number one for like hand grenade deaths. Surprisingly,
The fuck?
Yeah,
What's up,
it's like
LeBron?
a real thing. It's a whole thing. It's a lot to do with there's some anarchist terrorist group there, and then there's like ultra racist like group there that's like Nazis, and then you like Nazis like real Nazis.
Real
and then
Nazis.
you also have ISIS guys that came in with the Syrian refugees that they took.
Mhm.
Surprise there. And those three groups basically kill each other non-stop. And apparently somehow they're all getting hand grenades and killing each other with them. They actually have, like, hand grenades are a bigger issue than guns there.
Well, yeah, because...
and guns are banned, but they still
pussy.
have guns.
But are
they're
hand
still
grenades
having
banned,
problems with
though?
hand
Come
grenades.
on.
Yeah. It's hilarious.
Well, no,
It's
because...
pretty easy to smuggle in a hand grenade. Just stick to some horse pussy and you're good.
There's a documentary on it by Swedes. And, like... it's for everybody because apparently, I mean, a lot of people don't know about it.
I gotta
but,
find that fragging video.
They talk about how basically the royalty and the higher ups, the super rich, basically cover it all up and try to hide it, and they keep trying to fake it till they make it. Essentially, that everything they said is gonna work and everything's gonna be fine and dandy, but they're ignoring all the murders, deaths, and hand grenades.
No, we know that. But that's already gone now. It's just right now, if you say that you're a conspiracy theorist, like Believer, and you're like Alex Jones type, but eventually it will get out, like 10 years down.
Even though the Swedes are saying it about their own country, but yeah, exactly.
Well, from Tim Pool said about this, like even though the cops will like tell them not to do certain things, like go to this, like a street, after the fact, if they try to like sue anybody for it, they'll deny that anybody ever said anything about assault. Like they'll tell you like firsthand, but they'll always deny that this was actually a thing. Am I probably not being clear? Kinda. Well, the idea is like they'll tell you, like they'll say to your face, yeah, this is bad, but when you try to get like an official report on it, they'll never own up to it.
Oh yeah, they'll never. Yeah.
They'll try to like even sue you for slander.
That's kind of basically what they're saying the hierarchy in Sweden does.
Yeah. Which is pretty fucked. It's weird how, again,
like they walk around one of the big major cities that it's an issue, and they walk around the downtown and it's a ghost area, and like they walk around it like during like when everyone should be out, and they go, this is the most you're gonna see because the people of Sweden have left this city because of what's going on. Like,
yeah, it's fucked.
They either moved to another city in Sweden or they have left the country completely.
I mean, it's autistic to think that populism being on the rise and the right on the rise is just happening because of, it's pendulum swinging. It's always a cause and effect. Just when you have people getting too much power from one side and they're abusing the power and being corrupt with it, then you're going to have that reaction, a counter-reactionary. Right now, for some reason, the left thinks they're the reactionaries, but really, the Trumps is the reactionaries. They're the status quo. The alt-left, the left is the status quo. Like, I mean, they have 8 years of leadership, you know? They've had all their bullshit passed. They have,
Not to mention they control all the propaganda.
Oh, yeah, I mean, whether or not you believe that or not, it's fair. But, like, I think all media's fucked, but... Like,
well, I mean, it's all owned by companies who are out to make money.
Yeah, fuck Disney, dude.
Yeah, ABC, ESPN.
Yeah, man, it's fucked.
Lucasfilms, now 20th Century Fox.
There's a theory.
They own majority of Hulu.
Yeah, we need
a lot of media.
We need to fucking like break up some media companies, like legit. Like there's like what, 3 companies?
I mean, we've done it. Last time they did a major one was the telephone companies, wasn't it, though? With like Southwestern Bell and all that.
Yeah,
Bell
Atlantic.
That's like the last time we've done like the United States government did like a major like.
And that was what, like the early 2000s, and since then.
Or late 90s, somewhere around
there. And since then, telecommunications and media have grown billions of dollars more, hundreds of billions of dollars more. Not even, and they're back to same like basically major companies.
Mm-hmm. AT&T owns it.
There's a conspiracy theory that the reason why the Star Wars movies are so shit is because they're trying to attack George Lucas for royalties. So that's why they're horrible. So they're like
they're trying to what?
So because George Lucas still gets royalties, I think after a certain amount of years. So they're trying to like just ruin the brand. Essentially, Did you see that? Did you see that story where they basically purposely were trying to tell people not to go to the Star Wars part of their parks yet because they didn't think they were ready, like for people to see it, like people wouldn't enjoy it enough. What does that mean?
There wasn't enough there. If that makes sense, like there wasn't just enough entertainment value there.
What do you mean
yet,
parks? You mean like Disney parks?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Disney parks, like Disneyland, Disney World.
Yeah.
And so they're putting Star Wars areas in it, right? Obviously.
Yeah, and they've been advertising
more
for
money,
months.
Right?
Too.
Yeah. So originally, when they first quote unquote opened that section, it wasn't done, and there wasn't a lot there, and so Disney was purposely. I don't remember exactly all they were actively doing, but they were actively trying to get people not to go to that area of the park, because it wasn't like they wanted it to their whole vision to be completely done first.
Yeah,
and I'm like, then why did you open it?
Yeah, that is. I think it probably had to do with like a deadline, or maybe they already
it's
paid
like a
for
whole
the...
thing. But then like apparently there's like actual like quotes and proof from like upper echelon Disney people that this is true.
No, I believe it. I think.
And they are explaining why they did it, and I'm like.
It's probably just because they're such a big fucking company that one part of it didn't listen to the other part and just it already went through and was already paid or something.
Yeah, because they're a giant bureaucracy.
Yeah, it's usually how it works, and that's like how Sony got fucked long term, and still why they're still suffering. But I think eventually, like that's why having a big conglomerate like this is sometimes really bad, because you might control all. Like I mean, I think it's still bad anyways, because they control all these movies and all these IPs, but they haven't really put anything good out. Sure, people watch it, people pay millions of dollars, but superhero movies aren't good. They're not good. They're okay. They're like, if I were to rank it on, you might like them, but are they good movies? They are movies. I'm not saying they're not movies, but are they good? Would you say, man, I felt something for this? Nah, it's something you just fucking put on. You can put on as in the background. You're not really invested in it. You really don't care because
I'm also not like there's people that like scary movies, which I don't because I find them very predictable, so they're boring.
Yeah, that's
people like watching them, and I'm
those
like,
are
these movies are
movies.
trash.
But at least they have they have a really tiny budget as well, and so it's like okay.
Usually, but that's because they're usually trash. Where like the superhero movies I enjoy more than that. Now,
I don't know about
you
that.
could go into like there's movies I enjoy more than those too, though. Like there's a lot of there's action movies out there that I enjoyed more. Like Enemy at the Gate. Fucking love that movie. Great movie. Black Hawk Down was an awesome movie.
There's just too many movies coming out. We need to break up all the companies. Say,
Ridley Scott's just a pretty good director.
One director, one movie per decade. Okay, one movie per decade. Just lower the quota or something. No one can make more than one movie a decade. Done. There's too much media, dude. Too much YouTube videos. Too much shit. Everything is garbage. Like, think about it. In order to get really big on YouTube, you don't actually have to put out a lot of video. You don't have to put a lot of good videos out. I'm sorry. You don't have to put a good video out. You have to put a lot of shitty videos out. I'm looking at. There's this one guy named Blitz. I mean, I respect him for making it, but he puts out 5 or 6 videos out a fucking week, at least. And his videos are just long plays of him playing a game. That's all they are. And I guess they're mildly entertaining if you're fucking 6. Then there's another guy I think called Hypercore. He puts out one video a week, and his videos are amazing. Massively more interesting because he puts more editing in it. It's not just a long play. There's actually editing involved. There's some sort of something going on, but he gets 1/100th of the views. And
it's because 6-year-olds don't fucking care.
That's what I'm saying though. But that's low IQs don't give a shit if fucking Superman, if fucking Batman makes you feel something, because at the end of the day he didn't do his superhero move because people fucking dum-dums. It's because at the end of the day, like most things, it's always the consumer's fault where we're at, because they don't ask for more and they accept less.
Are you talking about voting with your wallet?
I'm talking about everything, man. I'm talking about the common man is the problem. The common man is always the problem, and always the solution as well to everything, because they accept it. Because they are the majority. They are the unspeaking majority. They are unthinking majority sometimes as well. So, sure, maybe it's voting with your wallet, sure, but the point being is that if you don't like DLCs, why do you think DLC still exists even though so many people say they don't like it? Because more people fucking pay for DLCs. If this thing wouldn't exist if people weren't making more money from DLCs than a standard way. You know, so it's just the fucking proles, dude. The fucking proles ruin everything. Now I'm not saying we should go kill people. I'm just saying this is where we're at. If you think you're conscious, maybe you are conscious. The idea, if you're not following the status quo, maybe you are conscious. If you are following the status quo, then you might not be conscious.
I served the Soviet state.
There's no conclusions to break from this, but that's the only conclusion that I want to take from this is that the things.
I ain't gonna lie, Bosco. I kind of zoned out like 2 minutes into your.
But what I'm saying is the things you have to remember is everything that sucks is because of you. Most likely, you are the reason for your own destruction in more than one way.
I don't know if I'm my own reason for destruction.
Well, you as a collective.
Part of it.
You as a collective.
I'm part of it, but
for sure.
There's plenty of things that I just refuse.
So you gonna get me a mixer
to
contract
in,
or
but
what?
It's still gonna happen.
You gonna get me a mixer contract or what, dude?
Huh?
Are you gonna get me a mixer contract? I'll bring over like 2K more followers, maybe.
I don't work for Microsoft anymore.
Oh, dude, fuck off! I don't care about you anymore. All right.
It's a free society.
Nah, you don't. Where do you work for now?
I switched just because I was annoyed with our management.
Yeah, the management did sound like kind of bullshit from what you've told me.
They were garbage, bro. They really were. Incompetent. They don't know how to manage people. They don't.
Yeah.
They believe that people will just work for a company when really people work for people.
No, I assume that's what it was because when we did talk very loosely, you're kind of apologist of it, but I think it's more to do with you just don't want to talk shit until you're out of the situation. That's usually what people are.
Exactly.
But I kind of got that. That's how it was going. It's fucking sucks. Big corps do that all the time. But where are you working now?
Now I work for Marshalls. I'm gonna be an assistant manager, making salary, making like
nice.
Twice as much as I was making.
Yeah, and you don't have to worry about anything but fitting a fat man in a suit or something, right?
Not even that, dude. I just manage the store and make sure people are where they're at. And it's funny, a lot of people walk up to me and they're like, bro, you have reorganized all this, you made this a lot easier, everybody gets their breaks now, people aren't forgotten, blah blah blah. I was like, it's not hard. Basically what I do is I serve the employees. My job is to make sure that they get their proper shit. If they're here for a certain amount of time, they get a lunch. If they get this many 15-minute breaks, I have to make sure. And then I just look at where everyone's zoned out and I make sure people are in their proper areas and that there's a proper amount of people in each area when other people go on break and shit like that. So a lot of people have been pretty happy about that because they've seen that. And I was like, I feel like that's not hard to do.
Shit, you're doing your job.
Oh my god,
I know, right?
Actually give a shit about
But
people?
I have worked for a lot of management who doesn't do that. But I think a lot of it that drives me so passionately to do that is because I've had such shit management that I refuse to be the shit manager. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, and I think a lot of it comes out to too is that managers, I've had good managers too, and good managers I've had, man, not only was my quality of life better at work, but it ended up things at work got better, and promotions or whatever, or awards or bonuses or whatever, and then stuff outside of work starts to become better, right? People don't realize when you have not necessarily control, because the manager only has so much control. It's kind of loose because your hands are tied on certain things legally, but you have the power to either make people's lives easier or harder, and my big job is to make people's lives easier. If they don't have the proper tools, they need to have the proper tools to do their job. They haven't been trained on something, then they need to be trained on it. I hate that people are Yeah, and then no one trains anymore. No one trains people to do, like, they hire them for a job and just expect them to, like, know certain things. I'm like, you can't expect anybody to know anything at this point. Like, just walk them through the whole fucking thing, show them how it's done, and then you can say, well, I know you knew how to do this because I showed you, you know?
And then you smoke them at the fuck.
And I feel like this shit's common sense, but apparently it's not.
Well, yeah, a lot of people have gotten, like... That's why, like, I think things are, like, kind of fucked. I think a lot of people gotten paid and promoted when they really don't, like, should have.
Deserve it. Yeah.
Well, it's mostly, I think it has to do with, like, when companies expand really quickly, the standards drop. And they end up with, like a situation with incompetence. And then it takes a while for these companies to start purging these people because they already have, they've been in, it's hard to figure out what the problem is. But it's, I mean, if you have, like, you know, what they call, like, czars, essentially, like czars for certain positions, you can find out pretty quickly. But if the czar is corrupt or incompetent, it's difficult to find it.
Yeah, and when you're in a really big company, it's really hard because half the time you're just drowned out by noise.
Like, I invested in this company called, I don't know if you know about this company, it's called Hooters. They actually make a lot of money, but the problem is they have such a stupid corporate system. Like, that's where they're losing all their money. They have too much corporate. Because why would people be opening up a franchise if they're losing money? No, the fucking issue is it's all going to fucking corporate. They're fucking autistic.
Yeah, that's a problem.
I only bought stock so I can get their fucking, like, information. But it's been a day opener. They were talking about how they bought every executive a book. This is what they're doing. This is their CEO meeting notes. They're talking about buying everyone a book so they can read about how to manage a company. Literally what they said, which is that to them that sounds like a good thing. To me that sounds very concerning that they're saying that they bought a book to read about managing companies. Oh my god.
There's people that are, I think, natural born leaders, and they're just people that aren't. There are people that can learn competently to be they can be a competent manager.
Sure.
But there are people that are natural born leaders, or they have gone through life dealing with a lot of shit and have, instead of doing the woe is me thing, they've learned from all of the shit that's happened to them. And they go and turn it around and learn from it and use it to fucking better themselves and get the fuck out of the situation, right?
I just mean the optics, man. The optics of telling your shareholders, hey guys, don't worry, we're fixing the hemorrhaging cash flow issue. We bought all our executives how to run a company better. Like, fuck me. Why are you here?
Yeah, why don't you instead start hiring some new motherfuckers that know what they're doing?
Like literally, that's the other thing. Like, they're talking about how we found a really good place to make money. It's called the internet. We're gonna start letting people order offline now. It's like, are you fucking kidding? It's 2019. What is, like, all this shit they're talking about, like taking orders off the internet? This is all new. They are really that fucking slow. And they think they're gonna make a ton of money off delivery and shit. I don't know how they're gonna make any money. Because I was looking at the margins, and the margins don't change because you don't make extra money off deliveries. That's not how deliveries work.
Do I get a titty flash if they come to my door and deliver? Because they might make some more money.
Well, because you don't directly make money. You make only more money because you're opening up another avenue and people order more food.
Right.
Because you'll be more convenient. But you're not gonna. They can't say they're gonna make more money, like, without actually doing it. Because you don't make money off the delivery itself.
Do they cater?
I think they do as well.
Like if an office ordered, like, wings, like, can they do that?
I think they do, but they don't. Again, they don't bring these girls over. Probably not.
I'm not even worried about that. I mean, do they just even, just a shit ton of wings? Like,
I don't know. I don't know. I'm not that active of an investor. I like to read their notes.
I was just curious if you knew or not, because, like, I'm like thinking about it now, and I was like, anytime I've seen wings catered at any, like, office job I've worked at or whatever, it's been like Wingstop or I'm trying to think of some of the other wing places, but I've never seen Hooters, and I'm like, I wonder if they even do that.
Oh yeah, they're also saying that another thing. This is old shit. One of the reasons what they're gonna do well is they're buying out another burger joint. They own 3 burger franchises, by the way, already, and they're buying another one. And they're like, this is gonna save our company. Maybe just stop buying.
Jesus.
They just keep buying franchises after franchise, and this is how they keep their company having, like, some sort of, like, value, because they're buying and buying and buying instead of hemorrhaging cash, or buying and hemorrhaging cash, and hoping that maybe one of their investments turns around, which it might, but still, that's not the way you should be doing it, I don't think. unless it's really opportunistic, it just feels like an expand or die tactic. They're just stretching themselves way too thin. Because now they're taking over these people's executives and these people's executives, and if they don't fucking fire them, because they're not gonna be able to fire them instantly, they'll have to be like 6 months to a year transitioning period where they're laying people off because they couldn't lay them off until they get all the details and stuff to figure out how to run the company. So that means for another 6 months to a year, they're gonna be hemorrhaging even more cash until they can lay these people off or at least get rid of them. It's just fucking retarded. Just dumb.
Yep.
They're a great company though. I can't wait for fucking Disney to pick up Hooters for like a couple million. The franchise. Now you can see all your favorite Disney stars in fucking bikinis. Yeah. Ever want to see Minnie Mouse's pussy?
And they got one in every park, and then they have
Dude,
one
that was
and
that
on the
guy
Disney
in-
cruises.
That was that guy in Dodds, man.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Did they ever delete that picture I posted, Kia? In
Where?
City? The Goofy one.
I don't think so.
That means they like it. I always knew they were fucking gay.
There's a lot of really weird shit in those fucking channels.
I muted the anime one.
Wait, what?
I don't need that in my life.
What Discord
I
you talking
posted
about?
some. I posted some goofy rule for in Bots Discord.
Oh, I was banned from that channel as well.
We already had this discussion.
From what channel?
No.
For what server?
No, like Potts' Titty City like channel. I couldn't post in there.
Oh, you're banned from the channel.
Yeah, they wouldn't let me even post there as well. I don't even know why. Oh no, I was posting dicks. That's why. But then again, half the people posting dicks as well.
I mean, there's someone
I've never
on,
seen so much fucking tranny porn in my life.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, it's the fucking weird thing. It's like I'm not the only one posting dicks, but fucking my name, dude. It's like venom to the eyes, dude. They see it and like fucking eradicate.
That's right. I posted Goofy with a massive dong and just for their enjoyment.
Wow.
And I got some nice Kihas eggplant.
I'm still fucking
notes out.
streaming, dude. Why am I fucking streaming? No one's even